Music, kind courtesy DJ Phil. It will get us kindly and set us warmly as well into the newspaper review segment for you here on the 3FM Sunrise on the show. And you know, the rains, right? What we experienced on Monday has even affected the availability of papers and what have you. Circle is a huge place where the papers go to, and then there's redistribution and all of that. So we have some of the papers, we have online news reviews as well. Let me introduce a guest my colleagues in studio. Noble Crosby and Patrice Amegashi, who are joining me in studio. Good morning, gentlemen. Trust that all is well.
Good morning.
The night was restful. I think we woke up to some bits of slight showers here and there. Right now, when there is small rains out there in Charlie,
soccer and everything.
Yeah.
Last night I stayed up.
You stayed up to watch a game?
Unfortunately, I had to.
Interesting.
He's not patriotic at all. When is Ghana there?
He doesn't stay up. But for Mexico, you stayed up.
You stand up and watch the game and analyze
so
the
yesterday,
game.
I watched the
France,
Ivorian
Sweden.
game.
Okay.
Very terrible performance.
Norway.
Very terrible.
Norway,
I was wondering what was wrong with the boys. What was wrong with the boys? What was wrong with the Ivorians? I don't know. So, you see, soccer is one thing I don't understand. And I try very hard to have a grasp of what it is that the players go through or their coaches go through or instruct them. So you are playing you were a goal down. And then you pushed up front and you equalized. And then you retreat. Then the people score.
Before you,
Then you
go back up
you
front.
want to advance again and attack. What kind of a mindset is that?
Well, there are some explanations. You see, when you're
Please tell me.
when you're pushing up front in an attempt to equalize, there are a lot of risk you expose yourself to. So is the opportunity cost trade off something?
Is it not a game of equals? You said you were going to the World Cup to meet up. I mean, all these guys.
No,
Kessie, where does Kessie play?
it's not. Kessie is somewhere in the Saudi Pro League. I should be honest.
What about the other players? Doesn't anybody play in the Premiership or in the Spanish or the French La Liga? I mean, the point is that it is skill and talent. You have the talent to play the football.
Some people will be more talented and more skillful.
But now you have honed your skill. You have honed it to get to a professional level. Why are you scared of the other person?
If Patrice were a coach, he will not accept that there is better quality on the other side than his.
No, that is not it. Mine is that I do man-to-man assessment.
Right.
I do man-to-man assessment. And you can't tell me that. So how were they able to equalize?
Charlie, Mbappe versus
How were they able to equalize? That is important. How were they able to equalize? They pushed and they equalized. So why do you think that same push couldn't have led you to score more goals? Then you retreat. Now you are beating. You are whipping on the. Hey, look, if I were the
Ivorian coach.
What coach? I would have lashed all of them.
Yeah, Ivorian FA.
What kind of?
Or the president.
We have to disband the team. What nonsense?
Ivory Coast.
Oh yes.
I think Ivory Coast is the first time they've made it into a knockout phase.
This is the first time, and
yeah.
I mean, make better history. Norway. What team is Norway?
By the way, this is Patrice who was defending Otuado some time ago. I want to.
That's what is wrong with defending Otuado.
I thought we should call him and sack him again. He disagreed.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, my point is that it's a game of equals. Stand up to the occasion. Point is, it was not a drubbing. You get it?
Yeah.
This one was just one goal, and then you played and equalized. So that same verve could have been put in the game to beat the Norwegians.
Well, it's a good
Yes.
induction to make, but there are a lot of things that go on in football.
So
does
go and
not
sleep.
always follow that
Go and
that
sleep.
line.
When the termites attack, then you get up and then you kill them. Then you go back.
For that
it was terrible.
For that Ivory Coast game.
Yeah.
What I can say for the second goal they conceded, the marking was terrible. Haaland was essentially free, alone in the box.
Absolutely. And that is one guy you never leave.
Absolutely. And I think I was having a conversation with Mutala yesterday when we were discussing the game.
Yeah.
And I told him that my heart is for Ivory Coast,
Absolutely.
but my head was with Norway. Simply because Ivory Coast dominated that game because they were chasing at some point and all of that.
In the first half, it was 45%, 48% that is in favor of Norway.
Right.
But the second half, they picked up.
You understand?
Yeah.
They dominated, particularly in the second half, because they were in search of a goal.
Thank you.
Were they able to take their chances? It was always going to come back. Were they going to be able to create enough to score?
They could.
They equalized, and Norway goes on the attack. And a striker like Erling Haaland, you don't leave him alone. He didn't even have to blast the ball. He was actually trying to cushion the ball and tap it into
exactly.
it. And then he walked
then the
into
ball
the
exactly. So at a point he hesitated.
Because there was nobody close to him. Absolutely nobody. That when he tapped the ball, he was trying to now kick it. Someone can clear it off. There was absolutely nobody.
What is wrong with the African teams? What is wrong with
went.
But I think Morocco did good.
Yeah, Morocco
did good. I mean, they are number one in Africa, right?
They're
number one in Africa.
Them and Senegal.
Yeah.
Senegal, partly disappointing, had to win by 5-0 against Iraq to make it into the round of 32.
Right.
They'll face Belgium. I believe they should have.
Oh no, they would win.
Enough
They would
to
win.
beat
Senegal
Belgium
would win. So what happened to the French game? I watched a little
bits
bit
and pieces of it. They won by 3-0. Mbappe with 2 goals, and then Bradley Bacola with the other. I mean, I was telling. I made a post on X.
Yeah.
I hate calling it X. I made a post on Twitter, by the way, and I was saying, look, the World Cup is France to lose.
Yes.
I don't see, in sincerity, I don't see any team that beats them.
Maybe Spain. Maybe Spain.
They'll be too good for Spain.
Maybe Spain, but
they'll be too good for
Sweden
Spain.
Played a beautiful game yesterday. I was amazed at
They could
Sweden.
not take one simple chance.
Yeah, but I was surprised at the way they came at
the coach of
France
Sweden
in the first
is
game.
Harry Potter.
The first half, yeah.
No Harry Potter, but I know Graham Potter. Yeah. Graham Potter is the Swedish coach. The Swedish coach.
Anyways, so for me that was it. That was the icing on the cake for me last night. I mean, I watched everything. I got to a point I was like, Charlie, I'm dozing off. So what's going to be the final score?
Yeah.
I just had to go.
A few messages already because we started with K. Bill says it's the African mentality at its display in our football. Discipline, strategy, efficiency, and resilience is limited. It says good morning to the team as well. Good morning to you, Mr. Bills. Always a pleasure to have you join us. We're going to go into a number of the online portals, right?
Yes, okay.
I'll start off with 3news.com, which reads that Ministry of Health issues cholera outbreak alert. Eat warm food and wash your hands well. That's one that's coming through. Utah calls on government to find lasting solution to annual floods. How many times are we not going to say this, right? Floods, NPA to undertake compliance inspection at affected fuel stations nationwide. Declare 1 week flood emergency preparedness exercise as Nsubuachi urges government. And our thoughts have not left Ghana. Black Stars coach Queiroz backs Accra flood victims. Charlie, this coach,
Charlie he knows what he's about.
He knows how to endear himself.
He's intentional, very intentional.
The fans of whatever nation he's coaching. That you have to give to him. And he's done it everywhere that he's gone to. In fact, the Iranians love him.
Just because
even
of
after leaving. Yeah, they love him. They love him. They absolutely love him.
He's a great man.
He establishes a good relationship.
With the fans.
Touches the fans, the nation at heart.
I mean,
so even
to be speaking about floods in Accra,
when you are, even when he is sacked eventually, because we'll eventually get to the level where we're not performing well, it will be easy for us to go back to him but for his age. But I mean, he's doing well.
Anyways,
already there are calls for him to be given the reins and all that on a match because we hired him for 3 months to take us to the World Cup.
All right, okay, that's cool.
So now there are conversations. Charlie, hand him the contract and tell him, have him deliver the AFCON for us.
Let's hit Graphic Online.
Yes,
I have Graphic Online. It says that June 2026 records highest rainfall in Ghana's history. That's according to Muntaka telling Parliament. And President Mahama has authorized a release of 360 million to sort out people. Now, floods, 300 million to be released from contingency fund for relief support. I heard it in the 3 News also this morning when it was being read. And flood alert, NADMO orders immediate evacuation of communities along Wager Dam spillway. Also, the Ghana Meteorological Services, is it department or something?
Ghana Meteorological Agency.
They're now an agency. Okay, they issue weather warning as rainstorm approaches southern Ghana. And Accra Tema floods, 9 confirmed dead. And 2 bodies retrieved following flooding in Tema, Manhian. And then World Cup, Paraguay declared national holiday after knocking out Germany. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's actually a huge deal.
Really?
And, you know, we say it as a joke a lot of times, but I'm being very honest.
Yes.
Had we got that penalty against England and won,
yes,
I most probably would not have made it to work the following day. I'm being honest.
Really? Thank God that did not happen.
I'm just trying to speak to the excitement comes with.
You guys stop the excitement.
Imagine in 2010 if Asamoah had scored that
penalty and we were going to the semi-finals. Are you telling me?
Our West will be third. We'll use our next 2. I tell you. Even Panama, unfortunately, somebody lost their life.
Out of excitement. It is.
Well, Methodist Church opens facilities to flood victims as Accra battles devastating rains. And, Mario Balotelli reveals admiration for Antoine Semenyo and the support for Black Stars.
Yeah,
Government intensified flood response as heavy rains wreak havoc on Accra. So that is it from Graphic Online.
Right, I'm going to take you to my joinline.com now. Why increase utility tariffs? Guta says economic indicators point the other way. That's the big banner story on my joinline.com. World Bank says Finance Ministry fiscal control delayed Garrett project. That's interesting. Ghana Institution of Engineering prescribes 19-point plan to tackle perennial flooding. Ghana received record 593 millimeters, 0.2 millimeters of rain in June, highest monthly rainfall in history.
Wow.
We woke up to the announcement. Guta slams lack of consultation on utility tariffs. I'm sorry, but there's no consultation when tariffs are being increased.
I told you.
So, there are certain things we can have a conversation about. But when I don't recall PURC having to consult persons outside of.
There are times they do. There are times that they do. But the point is that I want everybody to understand.
I mean,
why.
we are criticizing and rightly
Yes.
so the increase in utility tariffs,
Yes.
and because they are kicking off today.
Yeah.
Right, you'll be paying 3.49 and 0.85 more. 3.49 for electricity, and 0.85 for water, and all of that. But
I tried getting your mind to it yesterday when I mentioned the amount of money that we had already taken from the World Bank, and we needed to pay back. So we are blind. The Ghanaian is just blind because we have received over $700 million from the World Bank to sort out the drainage challenges in Accra. We haven't done that. We've squandered the money. So we need to raise funds to be paying the debt. So you and I would have to pay because utilities are a necessity. Anyways, let's get to Ghana Web. It says, let's not make the mistake of electing another 72-year-old president again. This is A+ speaking. And then RNAQ divorce saga. Joanna Quay files fresh suit, demands 10% of Bill's credit profits since 2011. And then there are photos of the filth, wreckage, and bodies left behind by the Accra floods. And if you're tired, leave office for someone ready to lead. Sami Ewuku tells Mahama. Sorry. Yeah, Sami Ewuku speaking. Accra floods. Watch the moment area boys in quotes, saved woman trapped in her vehicle. So that's the World Cup 2026. Ghana's Benjamin Asante ranked 6th best goalkeeper. You see, Benjamin Asare, right? Benjamin Asare ranked 6th best goalkeeper in the world. And you are going to play teams and you are scared of them. Please, don't. It's a game of your minority demands detailed accountability for 350 million flood relief allocation. And company begs government for support after flood destroys goods worth over $2 million. They warn of possible close down. Anyway, Agric Minister unveils theme for 42nd National Farmers Day that was done yesterday at the Agric Ministry.
One of the stories, Patrice,
Yes.
you read was speaking about the photos of the impact.
Yeah. Oh, that's on our page.
Yes,
Good.
yes. On Facebook, you'd see it, and it is concerning. In fact, I don't want to get to where it came from and all of that. What I want to look at is what we are going to do with this.
Yes,
With the
we
wreckage,
dispose-
with the debris, with the plastic. We should make sure we just do not leave them on the roads for them to disappear. And then if they are disappearing, it means they are
Where would
getting
they be?
back
Yeah, exactly.
into the water body. And then another time when it rains, the impact will also happen. So exposing the problem of sanitation we have in the country. We've seen some bodies also being recovered from the
different
rain
places, actually.
and
Wow.
it is also of concern.
Yes.
These bodies were left in the rain. They drowned in the rain, and there may be some excreta from the body into the various systems and all of that. The impact on drinking water will be very
Very high,
severe.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
we really should be careful we really should be careful.
Some health professionals spoke to it yesterday.
Yes. Now, the food you are going to buy to eat outside, you should be careful. Because yesterday we played a report from Armstrong, and some traders had already just picked a few things that they are washing.
Oh, we'll bring those.
They are washing them, and then they would recycle them for us to eat. Yes.
Right from where I stand, it's a
shop. For persons who are on Facebook and YouTube, right? This is what Armstrong found when he was at Circle yesterday. I'll take us to Parliament, and I mean the conversation will continue in that regard. But here's what Armstrong discovered when he went to the Odona market yesterday.
See this rice, for instance, right from where I stand, is a rice shop, and you see this rice. You see here, all these yesterday was flooded with water, and I'm told all these sacks of rice you see here have all been flooded. And you see this rice, for instance, yesterday was equally flooded by the flood waters, and every single item here you see, let me say, has been contaminated. But the question is, are the traders or the market women going to get rid of them, or they are still going to go ahead to sell it onto the market? Madam, so what are you going to do with the granite paste now? Because I can see this one is still in the container.
This one, they doesn't do anything, but those that run away there, this one is okay.
Okay. So what's on top of it like that?
And the sand.
The sand. So you are going to clean?
I'll take some away.
You take the front part away?
Because I can't throw all away. Everything has gone.
You can't throw all away?
But even the oil, tin tomatoes, everything. Everything. Even the tin tomatoes, they've even stolen some. Everything. This is the pallet, all the oil, everything. I didn't get one.
You had 15 bags of salt?
Salt, that's the sack.
They've all dissolved?
Dissolved. I didn't get anything.
So this tomato paste there, you cannot throw it away?
No.
You have to clean the top?
This one, they have to manage it and sell.
You manage it and sell?
I'll manage it.
But I can see a lot of that.
It's the water.
It's the water? But it just I couldn't penetrate?
No. Because of the cover, and I placed it on this table, so this for this one, they are safe. Those that are on the pallets here, they are...
So how much do you think you've lost?
Almost 1,000 or 10,000.
What, madam? Into what's wedding I was saying?
Bibi ako, na beni nyina go so ni nyina ako. Ya kana mbetu nyina ako.
Into we about say met me yisubio.
Ya to me yisubio.
Oh, na say abewu.
Hey abe.
Into I say. Into ma to atwene.
Beto atwene be ndien.
We sure. Where's what I choose you?
I'm much bad near who about me. That's much way. Lefty. I'm on your much.
What you say?
How much way?
I can't get your Kobe.
Kobe, let's look Kobe. So summer. I got some after Kobe. 50 much way.
Go to 50.
Oh, 50.
Boy. Me pacho me money, me money, me mami niwo. Nini na say ya fa bibia. Ya fa shi omona ni emuncha. Ya baba cho ombe boy kakra na enti fanta.
Please, boy, we take a pen.
What is it?
I've got tomatoes.
This rice. So what are you going to do with this rice now?
We are going to throw it away.
Madam, who are they?
That's me.
We I say it's on Annan is almost as I say.
I say.
I say we cover now. Not just a wet music in a can.
Beef, room come out.
Where room come out? No room come out. I don't just as say.
And say.
Into what may you be?
Me and the camera now.
Contemplating soon at the Benam Musa.
And they bet you are good.
I know what you and I'm trying to steal. Okay. Well, the issue here is quite worrying. Where these market women, some of them will not throw away their produce because they feel some of them after washing the front part, they can be able to use it. So where I stand now, you see sack of rice, so many of them all soaked in the flood waters.
there's a danger here.
Absolutely.
Is that I'm coming just a minute. So some of the food you'd go out or you go to the market, you go to the various shops, they may look very normal after the floods, but they will still be contaminated. For example, like a bag of rice, it may dry after a day or two.
Yeah.
It has no rain, it will dry, so you think that it is okay. But if the flood water entered the sack and then touched the rice, it is just unsafe.
Yeah,
flour, gari, sugar, powdered milk, baby food especially. In fact, everything we are going to consume after the floods we experienced days ago, we just should be extra careful because we are likely to be eating a lot of contaminated stuff. And then do you blame them? When they say that if the government does not come to their aid, they will just clean and let us eat it. And that is where the mindset of the Ghanaian also comes.
There's a much broader conversation on this. Okay, no.
So, I was even going to relate to the fact that, in my neighborhood, there was a similar incident where floodwaters went into homes. I went to see for myself what happened yesterday, and I saw persons who had provision shops cleaning some of the items to put them back on the shelf.
Yeah, they would.
So all I'm just trying to say is that it is not just the markets that because behind when the microphone was off and we were listening, I mean, we were saying maybe our corner shops or something. Everywhere is not safe actually, because in my neighborhood when I went to see, there were provision. I saw the woman; she was washing a calipo, right?
Yeah.
She was washing and
it's not like putting something or a can
it's not canned, it's not.
Yeah, paper. It's in a paper.
Yeah, paper bag.
Yeah, and all that, and all of those other items. We've seen persons who at
but that may not be
Lashibi. It may not be. I'm just citing the example that.
Yes, but okay. Other things that you may not see.
That you may not see could have been. Whoa. We saw at Lashibi as well. Persons were picking items from the floodwaters, and where some said they were going to sell, some said they were going to consume, and so that's a reason why when you go on to 3news.com, the first thing there is the public health alerts warning by the Ghana Health Service, and so there will be the need for a bit more in terms of caution. Yeah, caution on our part as citizens, even as
we saw the granite paste.
So I just wanted to add that so that you come in now.
You see, sometimes when things happen, I mean, you need to pick out a few things, a few lessons. So it tells about how unstructured our markets are. Because we look at Kaneshi Market, it was built by a Champo. It was a Champo that built Kaneshi Market. Look at how Kaneshi Market was built. And I am saying, are we still living in that period where wares have to be on the floor for it to be a market? We have to move away from this. We have to move away from this. Let us construct a better market area. Let us put in certain facilities that will make food wholesome for consumers and also prevent such incidents of like flood and so on and so forth. Because if we don't do that, these are things that we'll be revisiting every day. So we are saying that there is no architect in this country. There is no engineer in this country. There is no planner in this country to come up with how we can build markets. So look at what happened when they carried the onion guys to the Cape Coast Road. So they just threw them there and they left them there. And whenever you are driving, it still goes back to the same old market. So I am saying, could we not have built a proper market where even things could be bagged? Like when you go to Accra Mall and you go to the grocery area, you find all these things over there, properly arranged. But for us in our minds, the local market is things on the floor, people walking, people spitting, people stepping and all that. Look at the anchovies that we like to take, what people call the Keta schoolboys.
Where they dry it to
go along the polygonal area. That is where people are jogging and spitting and birds are defecating. And it's the same place they dry it. It is a very healthy species of fish, but the way it is done, it is not healthy. So it gives a broader opportunity for us to say that, okay, let us revisit the design of the markets that we put up. And also, it must be the responsibility of the assemblies. Once again, because the assembly is responsible for the citizens that live in the community, you come to them for levies, and they have to pay those levies to you. So if they are not healthy, if they are not strong, how will they be able to manage and pay you those levies? So you see, I think one of the most painful things was that we were not able to annex the lands. No family or chief or person should own land in Ghana. It should belong to the state. Otherwise, we must just demarcate properly and say that in this neighborhood, 2 acres for a clinic, 2 acres for a school, 5 acres for a market, 2 acres for a football field or recreational grounds. So that regardless of whether it falls within your boundaries, we don't care. That is what we have demarcated for the community. You were born into this world and you are telling me you own land. So the markets must change. Let us change it, because if we are not doing these things, health-wise, it will affect a lot of us. We may take it for granted, but tomorrow, something would happen. They would have a census. They would have a certain statistics. They will have some data. And it will tell you that people between the ages of so and so have this particular ailment. Forgetting that there was some rainstorm sometime in 2026, and people consumed a certain kind of food over a period of time, and that has aggravated a certain situation.
Right. A few messages. Philip Abochi on Facebook says, ladies and gentlemen, in spite of the heavy rainfalls, they wish to emphasize the significance of health education to the general public. With the widespread flooding, most of our water sources have been contaminated, and it's imperative that we boil our water before drinking. All food should be cooked well, and fruit should be washed thoroughly before consumption. Given the current environmental conditions in Accra and other regions, it is vital that we maintain hygiene by washing our hands after using the toilet. The value of life is paramount, and we must prioritize our health to live longer. Your health is our top priority. Thank you for your attention. Philip is sending that one in from Keta. Sefia Mo as well says the hygiene risk that comes with consuming some of these items affected by the floods can be dire. We know how people open public toilets into running waters when it rains. Imagine such contaminated water flooding rice, onion, fish, and so on. The market women dry and sell back to us to consume. Well, we've pretty much highlighted that as well. Sefia Mo, thank you very much for your message as well.
Yeah.
We're going to try and reach Dr. Louisa Mate. She's the director of public health, right? The Accra Metro Health Directorate. She's the director there. She's joined us via the phone lines for a quick conversation. Doc, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise. I trust that all is well.
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Right. Doc, in terms of the public health awareness and the concern, that is well known, right? And
yes.
And we're being warned. I've seen the Ghana Health Service as well warn us as to the dangers. But the market women are promising, I'm not going to say threatening, are promising to sell the flood-induced items back to the consuming public. This morning we've been sharing reports from the Odona markets, to be specific, where that appears to be the course of action they are going to be taking. Is there an immediate response from AMA and other respective agencies in having to step in and prevent this, outside of the public education that wash your food and all of that?
Right. Thank you for having me this morning, and good morning to all the listeners. These are challenging times for all of us, physically, emotionally, even mentally, and of course financially.
3FM.
So you would understand how some of the market women may take the position that they've taken. As a health person, I think where I would come from is that any food product that has come into direct contact with flood water is likely contaminated. And as much as we are looking for money, we are looking at how to sustain our livelihoods and all that, we should also think that we should remember that we are looking at a population that if we don't take care, we are going to make everybody sick. So once we know that the food has come into contact with direct contact with the flood water, it is not safe to be sold to the general public. It could be contaminated, you could get your money, but then at the end of the day, a lot of people may be sick. Your question is whether AMA is looking at addressing this. It's good that this has come to our attention, and I can assure you that the AMA, through its departments, including health, environmental health, and all, would take this up seriously and look at how we can go into the community and enforce some of these regulations that ensure that we protect the people. So I am sure my mayor is listening, all of us are listening, and then we'll take it up and address it today as we go into the office to go about our work. But as a health director, what I'll say is that we should not, as individuals, purchase food from anywhere that we know may have come into contact with the flood water, because it is likely contaminated and it will not augur well for our health. No matter how affordable or cheap they sell it to us, it is not worth it.
Right. I hear you on the course of action which will be taken when the team gets into the office today. What will be the advice? A complete confiscation of these items to prevent the risk that it is sold? What would you be advising from where you sit as the director of Metro Health within the AMA?
Right. Like I said, once the food has come into direct contact with the flood water, it is dangerous for consumption. So we'll proceed from that angle. Once we find out during our investigations that there's food, whether poultry, whether vegetables or grains that has come into direct contact with the flood water, we would engage. I believe in engagement and not really forcing people. We would engage for people to understand, the sellers especially, to understand that this is dangerous to the health of people, and then talk to them about not selling it. And if it has to come to enforcing that the food is not sold, I'm sure the AMA, with its bylaws and of course other law enforcement agencies, EPA, Environmental Office of the AMA, and for that matter, any other municipality would look at what is in the best interest of the public and do so in engagements with the food sellers so that we don't put those foods onto the market. And that's what we'll do. We'll do this together as a team, have a meeting, come into an agreement on the best course forward, and do this in the best interest of the public so that food that is not wholesome doesn't get into the hands of people, and then later on becomes a big health issue, and then we have to use money that we don't have to also start addressing health issues post-flooding.
In terms of high alertedness, right, of personnel within the AMA catchment area in beginning to pick up the early signs as to some of these diseases, where are we on that? Because yes, we're going loud on prevention and what have you, but there's a temptation that a fair few number of people may suffer, and knowing cholera and the other attendant diseases, how it can catch on, is there a plan in place as well to begin to immediately stem the tide should that come up?
Yes. So that's very important. We are very much aware that post-flood we may have diseases such as cholera, other diarrheal diseases, typhoid, and all that coming up. And so for the healthcare workers and the health system, we are very much on high alert for that. We are ready to receive any persons who may have any symptoms such as diarrhea, vomiting, any fever. At this time, when there's been a flood, we want to put out there that once you have symptoms such as that, do not take it for granted. And then we also want to put out there for the pharmacies and the chemical shops. We know that a lot of us as Ghanaians like to call first at chemical shops and pharmacies when we are not feeling well and that sort of thing. So we want to put out a high alert for pharmacies as well, who should prompt the health system once they start seeing people coming into the pharmacies to come and buy, complain about vomiting and diarrhea and that sort of thing. Don't just dish out the medications to the clients. Direct them to come into the health facility. And then we'll also be putting out our numbers out, especially in the AMA. We have pharmacies that we work with. We have our contact numbers who are disease control officers who are supposed to be contacted if you have a high index of suspicion that there's some form of outbreak in the community, so that we can work together to quickly nip this in the bud, because it could be festering in the community for a while before it comes to the attention of the health system. That's why the first point of calls for people who are not well, like the pharmacies, are some of the areas that we are looking at to make sure that this comes to our attention very early. Also, we have community health nurses and community health workers who work within the communities and are in touch with their community. So we expect that these community health workers, now that this flooding is ongoing and the risk of disease is also high, they go into the communities, they engage with the community, house to house, tell community members some of the symptoms and the signs and where to call or go to when they have these symptoms. So we are very much on high alert on this, and I know that there's still a lot of work for us to do. So we would get onto it, get the work done, and once you see the community health workers in your communities, let's be open to them. Let's talk to them about what is happening, so that we can resolve these matters as early as possible.
Right, just a last one from a viewer on Facebook says, can we use rainwater as well? Because some of those who harvested the rainwaters are using it for cooking and others. Please, your advice to this. And so they have it not contaminated by floods, but when it rains after about 5-10 minutes, they put things, basins and other things under it. They're asking if it is safe for use.
For me, I wouldn't advise using rainwater for cooking at this point. We know that we have a lot of high pollution in Accra, chemical pollution. Even our rooftops are chemically laden. So if you fetch water from your rooftop, hold it and use it for cooking. It is not the best at this time. And perhaps if you need to use it, you probably have to boil it first and make sure that you strain it as well before you use it to cook. Not right from the rainwater container into the soup that you're cooking. It's not the best. If we also have to use rainwater, we probably would have to use a chlorine tablet to drop the chlorine tablet into the rainwater and hold it off for a while before use, but not directly use rainwater collected to cook, to drink, and that sort of thing. It's not safe. It may have chemical pollutants within it that are not good for our health.
Doc, appreciate you this morning for engaging with us. I'm sure we'll be talking a bit more, particularly as you continue the work within the AME and other assembly catchment areas to help bring a bit more safety, right, to persons. But I appreciate you joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
That's Dr. Mate joining us, Louisa Mate joining us. She's the director of health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
I would have loved to ask, but I'm sure she may be listening, so I would have loved to ask that. Has Doc ever written a report on such situations that we are confronted with now, such that she wouldn't have to be going back and forth on health this, health that? So like I was talking, is there any report on how our markets need to be placed, where they have to be placed, how they have to be built, and how our market women need to keep their wares? You get it? Because if every now and again you're dealing with such matters, every day we call you, next week we call you, next year it's going to be the same thing, health, so and so forth. Has there ever been a report to say that let's ameliorate the situation by doing A, B, C, D, E? I would have loved Doc to speak to something like that, because it can't be knee-jerk as always. It's happened, so we flip it. We're going to do this. this is going on, what are the preventive measures? What are the precautionary measures that we need to take when such things happen? So maybe, yes, she's a doctor. So most of the time when I'm driving and I get to a junction or crossroads or something, and I notice there's a problem, I just go to the MTTD officer and I ask him, boss, with all that is going on around here, have you been able to write a report to your way? Say, no. Onya, it is not our business to write. We are just here to direct traffic. And I'm like, oh Lord. So a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of things are just passing us by. A lot of things are just passing us by. So when you get to a place like TT Brothers, I'm just diverting a little bit. It's supposed to be a crossroads where cars can cross from east to west and then north to south. And then you can make a left turn into Gulf City or make, another left turn into the industrial enclave.
All right.
But what usually happens is that for one of them, you have to go all the way to a certain roundabout. I've never seen such a roundabout.
It's a
long stretch. So common sense will tell you that no, it's crossroads. There should be a leeway for those who are turning immediate left. But MTTD will stand there and just direct traffic. And that is the end of the world for them. So for Madam Louisa, if you have any reports, please, it would be nice for us to know what you have proposed to authorities.
And Madam has spoken nicely about the public health, the food concern. Another area that I want us to look at this morning is how to do the cleaning. The homes and the businesses, the shops that have been affected, you may not exactly know the component of all the things the flood brought to your premise.
Yes.
So you'll be thinking that I need to just remove the mud, sweep the place, dust a few things off and all of that. But do you think, or don't we think we need to do some levels of disinfection based on the levels of contamination that happen? The people who are cleaning their homes, are they aware that they have to do something like this? They have to go the extra mile to clean. You just clean your TV, you clean your mattress, you just dry your mattress. You think that, okay, it is dry, so now I can sleep in it. Is it really safe?
Who spoke to you this morning? I can tell you on authority that at Gulf City, when it starts raining like that, people pump fecal matter into the water.
You see? And then
they pump it into the water.
You may not see it with your eye when it gets to your room.
You would not.
But
you would not.
At the end of the flood, your room would be contaminated with feces. How do you properly clean feces? So I think the EPA in this regard this morning should say something about how to properly, protect or clean up after a situation like this. Else we'll just be carrying forward diseases into our homes. So that's just one of the things, the cleanup burden, how to properly do the cleanup. Another area of concern, Patrice and Eric, is this, that we saw the levels of the flood. It was neck deep in some homes. Some homes, it covered the roof of the building.
Yes, the entire...
So this morning, you'll see a building there. But is it of the same quality?
Structural quality.
Structural integrity. Do we... has the flood compromised the structural integrity of any building? I think we should also begin to look at it. So if you own your own property, for instance, and then you suffered, you're for ages, decades, been suffering from floods, I think it is time for you to look for an engineer. Come and look at the place. Is your is the foundation still in good shape? Is the building, are the pillars, the content of the building itself, is it doing well? Before one day you are then the building collapses, a small wind, then it will collapse. So the post-flood conversation is also very important. Is important. Else we'll just be, going around about and suffering again.
Mawuena, landlords and property owners are in serious trouble.
Charlie.
They are in serious trouble because a lot of people are now asking questions as to why they built these properties in waterways. They didn't know. They've seen beautiful apartments. They've seen beautiful houses, and they come to rent it. And there they are. They have become fishermen and fisherwomen overnight.
I saw a video of a guy who was unfortunately mocking a woman.
Yeah.
And then he said, when you were coming to rent the place, we told you not to rent. But because it's a nice place, the rent is 50 cedis a month, you rented it. Now the rates have come, you cannot pick anything. So landlords are dealing with something. But before anything else, we should look at the electricity conversation as well. Closely linked to the building integrity thing. So in coordinating, you know that water and electricity don't work
the
nicely.
sockets and all that.
So you may think it is working. You put your phone in, it is charged. You put your TV on, it is working. But the wiring of the house, you should be careful because the water may be trapped somewhere, and eventually, out of nowhere, some spark, and then we'll see. So we should be careful.
We need to know how
long
it should take before you're able to reconnect.
Exactly, the education and the proper way to reintegrate yourself into your home, into your environment after a flood like this is important.
I'm wanting to take us to Clagon because yesterday my colleague George Queenan was there. I had him interact with a number of persons who had been affected by the floods.
Clagon is close to a certain river, right?
Yes. But I'll pause on it because there was debate on the floor of Parliament. And by the way, Crosby, with what you mentioned, was seeking to get an institution of engineers as well to find out what happens when the building remains soaked in floodwaters for some time and what persons can do, right? Because I was mentioning where I was yesterday in my neighborhood. I went round, I have videos. The entire foundation of some of the buildings which are close to the major drain have been completely taken away. Wow. In such instances...
And people live there?
Yeah, I saw people going into their rooms and all that. I'll share the videos.
That's serious.
I'll share brief videos with you as well. For those ones, they need to come down. All those buildings need to come down completely because it's not safe. It's like the building is hanging.
It's not even risky for only those who reside in it, but it is risky for maybe those who live close by or people who walk along the road or apply that place or they work along it.
So along some of these places, this is around Obrasport. Where I'm talking about is different. I'll send the videos to you, Frederick, so that you can show that as well. So the buildings are hanging, so they have to come. They have to come down.
They really have
and
to.
So and for persons who had theirs, like it's a 2-story building, a 3-story building where the entire base was submerged, and for about 4 or 5 hours, everything. What will be the appropriate course of action that should be taken to ensure the safety and integrity of the building, like Crosby mentioned? It's a very important question that we'll seek to put to the institution of engineers as well.
When we get them.
But let me take you to Parliament, because yesterday, members of Parliament took to the floor and were making comments in relation to the flood situation.
Don't tempt me,
no.
please.
I'm going to play just one soundbite from just one member of Parliament. That's the member of Parliament for Kwale Clotte. There's a reason I chose just that. Otherwise, I will fall into the same temptation as you and go on an absolute tirade.
And all those things I don't want.
I'll go on a tirade and possibly we could be hauled before Parliament to answer a few questions in that regard. But here's the member of Parliament for Kwale Clotte, right? When she took to the floor to speak to the flood issues, and I watched proceedings and I was livid until she began to speak, where I felt there was a bit more in terms of just the normal banter here and then. So I'll listen to her and then I'll come back and pick quick thoughts and then a few comments as well in relation to everything that happened.
17. This is an issue that I have reiterated on many occasions, including mentioning the reasons why we have the flooding. I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind that this incident from yesterday was a black swan event that occurred in the entire sub-region. And it certainly should guide the engineering strategy that will look at this solution for the flooding in Accra and perhaps in the rest of the country. On our probability matrix, what happened yesterday would have been considered once upon a time a low probability and a high impact event. But given the impact of climate change, it would appear that we have to put this on the high probability, high impact, which means that that is where a lot of our resources must be focused. Mr. Speaker, I would like to extend my condolences to the bereaved families, but also to commend the service staff from the security service staff from the Ghana Police Service, especially the Marine Police, the Ghana National Fire Service, the 48 engineers, the Ghana Navy, NADMO, and of course, the Osu fishermen who came over with their canoes from the Osu side to the Adabraka side to help in the rescue efforts. We did lose some persons in the constituency, unfortunately, and as the minister did mention, thousands have been displaced from their homes. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the fire in the Odorna market raged on for almost 24 hours because the fire service could not access the location where the fire occurred. As a result of that, many people, after the fact of having been displaced from their homes, have lost their livelihoods, many who will end up in debt. So we are grateful for the government's efforts in trying to mitigate the impact of such devastating loss to the lives of these persons. Nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, there is, under the NADMO Act, supposed to be the National Disaster Management Fund, which is supposed to do, amongst other things, help in providing the various agencies with the disaster risk management, as well as climate resilience, and being able to anticipate some of what we expect to come with regards to what is going on globally with climate change. Mr. Speaker, this disaster fund must be operational in order to support such things. We could not control the amount of rainfall that we had, but going into the future, given what we have seen the extent of the damage can be, the engineering has to take that into consideration. And just in response to the fact that a couple of colleagues have spoken to the issue of the Garrett Fund, I would like to mention that a few years ago, when our colleague, the Honorable Asenso, for either the Defense and Interior Committee or before the House to actually give a full account of what happened yesterday, a detailed account of what their challenges are, what they anticipate would be required in such an event happening again, given that we're expecting more rainfall, and what it is that Parliament can do in terms of supporting the efforts of allocating resources to the fund. Mr. Speaker, what happened yesterday was an absolute disaster, which we hope will not occur again. And we hope that as we bring all our resources together, given the expediency that the Finance Committee has shown, that the relevant resources will be given to the security agencies that are required to actually help in the building, the restoration of some of these areas. If only to mention that the enforcement of our laws must be taken as a very important.
So that's the Member of Parliament for Korle Kloti. Is the reason I decided to choose that out of the lot, right? Yeah, Dr. Zaneto Rollins, asking that the disaster fund of NADMO be operationalized, be utilized. We are a people who wait for the thing to happen.
We are knee-jerkers
before we take any action.
Of course.
And
what do you expect?
That continues to be a problem. I'm restraining myself in a lot of ways.
Why do you have to restrain yourself? That's the problem I have with you.
To make a lot of comments, right?
I don't know the number of hats you have. I think, how many hats? 2 hats or 3? So you are able to store things in
myself.
2 hats.
I have a good stomach to.
Okay, so
I can stomach a few things. But let's do the structural integrity conversation just quickly. Engineer Prince Cass Avotri is the Executive Secretary of the Structural Subgroup of the Ghana Institution of Engineering.
Oh, he's on the line. Oh, okay.
He's on the telephone line with us. Engineer, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Great. Engineer, we're talking integrity of our buildings, right? And we've seen this, the flood submerge a lot of homes. And the question we're asking this morning is, are these homes still safe to be continually habited by persons who suffered from the floods? Or let's start from there, right?
I think generally a good building or a good structure or infrastructure is trying to stand some of these adverse effects. So on the face of it, I would say yes, but it needs some assessment before moving back in.
When you say assessments, what sort of assessments do we need?
So after the flood, I think the flood that we heeded, so first of all, before we go back into our residences or our infrastructure, we need to assess what we call the building geometry from the outside. So, I mean, all of us can just walk around our building to check whether there are foundation scour or subsidence. So basically what I'm trying to say in a simple language is go around your building, check whether there has been erosion around your building, check whether there has been visible distortions, check whether the roof corners of your buildings are okay. That's on the external perimeter check. Then after you've done the external, when you are sure that it looks stable, the next thing you enter is to do the safety sweep. You look at you check whether your main breaker is turned off before a cleanup begins. I mean, while you know this, remember to wear your protective gear. And then afterwards, you look at what we call the internal structural red flags. You basically have to observe, because we look from other collapsed building that normally when flood comes in, water goes into building. There's what we call saturation into some of the elements. Then you check your waterlogged ceilings, because some of these things, most of our houses have this what we call plasterboard and POP ceilings. And these type of ceilings absorb massive amounts of water and it may collapse under self-weight. So we advise you get an expert or someone or an artisan to check these ceilings. Then you check whether your masonry walls, the blocks, the mortar joints, there's water leaking through all these corners. Then after you check all these things and then you are good to go, then you do what we call control the watering. I mean, some of the houses may have water still retained on their compound. And normally when we come back like this, we just want to pump water rapidly. So what I'm basically saying is that we should empty the water in a gradual process so we don't have an external pressure that can cause some wall to buckle. Then the final thing I would say is you record everything, you do your debris cleaning, then you call an expert for a professional assessment, and you can just move into your residential home after that.
That's the part where it becomes a bit challenging, and it's got Patrice laughing, calling the experts to come in and do some assessment for you. Who can they call? When you say an expert, who should they be calling? Should they be calling a resident engineer at the municipality? You know, who should they be calling to help assess these things for them?
I think Ghana Institute of Engineers, anybody that goes on Google can have their contact number. Once you call them, they can make their members available for you. Because our profession is in a way that we cannot be seen to be advertising ourselves. So that's where the challenge is. It's one of those professions that you can't advertise yourself. So you go to a task. The assembly is also a point. You can go to the assemblies. They will also know. But the professional bodies in the country, Ghana Institute of Engineers, you can go to their website, pick their contact, call them. You need an engineer, a civil engineer, to come and do an assessment for you. And I'm sure you will get sorted out. That's where it starts from there.
Right. So it starts from there. And so for persons who live around Chado, I'm being very specific, right? We had story buildings, 2 stories, 3 stories, where ground floors were completely submerged for about 3, 4, 5 hours before the water began to drain.
Yes.
In instances like that where the walls have been soaked for a very long time, will they need to vacate the premises for a while for it to dry? What will they need to do?
So this is where it becomes trickier to answer this because, for example, if before I would design a building or any civil or structural engineer would design a building, they might have well known the profile and the type of soil that is there, including situations like we've experienced in floods. So that means your type of foundation and your type of structure that is put in those localities should be able to withstand, because most of our buildings are built on frames. So the block walls are just infilled block walls. So if those buildings were designed by a professional, we could say that, okay, it's safe to handle this. Then the only thing that we can do post-flood, like what I've highlighted earlier in the steps, is to do the personal assessment, check some of these things so that a ceiling cannot fall on you. So those are not major structural things that will compromise the integrity of the building itself. You see, so these are some of the things I'm quite highlighting. However, if we assume that most of our buildings that we have around are not designed in these localities by a professional, then that's where we come in to say that we need to have a thorough assessment of it. We need to wait it out, get someone to have a thorough assessment of it, do some soil investigation to know that your soil or your foundations are okay and your buildings are okay for moving back.
Considering we've had a number of building collapses on Monday alone as a result of the rain, right? There was one at Tabora. I got personally called about one at around Odoko, official town area as well. What will be the advice from the Institute of Engineers to municipalities, particularly municipalities which have been hard hit with floods, in helping prevent an instance where we could be seeing buildings collapse as a result of these challenges which we're talking about?
I think as an institution, when we had the incident of Aveno, we issued a presser, and then afterwards we gave out practical steps for the assemblies for us to be proactive and start, whereby we give a period of time and ask people who own properties to have their building permit to regularize. Now, when you say building permit regularize, what it means is that it requires a certain form of structural integrity on those buildings for us to get here. So we have a clear direction as to what we could have done. However, as we saw after Aveno, once the dust settled, we went back to normal, and then we have this heavy flood rain. And then again, we must say that some of these collapses you have mentioned, the Saburo and the Odoko one, are some of the things that as professionals or as an institution, we are not surprised some of these things are happening, because we keep on giving guidelines, we keep on issuing presser statements, we keep on issuing things that as people, as countries, we should focus on and be handling it. So this will also probably give us opportunity to go back and rehash some of these things, that let's have all our buildings at least 2-story and above, have it structurally integrity done, and have it certified and proactively giving a habitation certificate that is okay for people to live in. So when we encounter situations like this, we should be sure that we are not expecting any building to collapse or any building to come down.
The Institution of Ghana Institution of Engineering, can expectations be brought on your shoulders, a bit more responsibility, that you come together and begin to visit some of these areas to help ascertain the safety of some of these buildings, to advise decision making going forward? Because we've seen a lot of areas, maybe small teams, because we're in near a state of emergency in terms of what is playing out. To have you as well play a role to ensure we don't get to the point where buildings are collapsing and then we have to run the risk of losing lives again.
Well, speaking as a structural engineer from the institution, in our own part, I think we are tracking some of these things. We are using our personal resources too. And also as an institution, because our institution is more like, it's similar to what we have like the Bar Association. And so if there's any agency that have the full responsibility to mobilize its engineers in the country with regard to logistics, and then that should be the Engineering Council. So I think it would be better now if we could call maybe the registrar and see whether there has been any budget allocation for the Engineering Council in terms of disaster management, in terms of following its core mandates as mandated by law and our Engineering Council acts that we have in the country. So these are some of the, but as an institution, we are always proactive. We have committees, subgroups that we move around to monitor some of these things.
Engineer.
But
finish up. I was gonna.
Yeah. So that is on the other aspect in terms of institutions that are mandated by law in terms of enforcement and supervisions and proactiveness in this. That's the engineering council on the engineer side. Then we look at the assemblies as well. The assemblies are also mandated. They also have full regulatory powers to also respond to some of these things at our local level.
Engineer, thank you very much for joining us this morning here on the show.
All right, thank you very much.
That's Engineer Prince Kas Avotri. He is the Executive Secretary of the Structural Subgroup of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, joining us this morning as well on the subject matter of safety of our structures. And so go around your building, see if the foundation is intact, if the roofing is safe, amongst many other things. If you didn't inquire of the services of any experts, you put up a story building and all of that, perhaps you should be looking out for an engineer to as well help you ascertain the safety of your structure. I mean, it's a tall order at this point in time, but that's the position and the commentary on whether or not our buildings are still safe after the rains.
Yeah, that is for those who were not directly involved with the building of their properties, because most of the time when you're constructing a house, you definitely need a structural engineer to ensure that everything that is going on is properly so done. And with reference to the buildings that you were talking about that had to do with those properties at Chado, I mean, yes, I'm not sure they would have put up those buildings without a structural engineer coming in to ensure that the structural integrity of the facility. What I want to speak to are two folds. One on what Zaneto said and the other on what the engineer said. I think the Engineers Association, yes, it's a very solid association, but they are not there yet. They are not there yet, being that they need to have a task force. I'm sure per their, what's the name, rules and regulations, they pay some kind of levies and all that.
So the expectation you have,
yes,
should go to the Engineering Council, because this is an association of engineers,
exactly. Like a private group.
Like a private group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was asking, how can they help?
Yes.
Because we are in difficult times. So how do they step in and also, as part of maybe corporate social responsibility, helping to assess the integrity of these structures to inform decision making?
They need to expose a lot of engineering
So the
flaws.
Engineering Council
yes,
they are the ones who have a responsibility.
Who are mandated to see to.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
To these, yeah.
So they are the ones I'm speaking to then. Because the point is that if you do not ensure that your other or fellow engineers are working appropriately, they are working professionally, they are working such that nobody would find anything bereft of the topmost quality that an engineer ought to put into the works that they do, then things become shaky, because you drive by certain roads, you see certain houses, you see certain properties, and you ask yourself, has anybody with an engineering mindset seen these? And have they spoken about it? Have they raised an issue? And was it flagged down or something? So for me, that is one aspect of the matter. If you allow quack engineers to construct buildings and you look on unconcerned, one day it is going to hit you, because you may not know where you would be at any given point in time, or you may not know where somebody that you relate to would be at a point in time. They may be in a certain facility or property, and anything devastating could happen. I'm speaking to Zanato. Well said, well spoken. To what end? It is the same thing that keeps repeating itself. When you go to parliamentary hazard and read on subject matters when it comes to responses to flood issues in this country, my brother, it is the same thing. There is so much poverty in parliament in terms of mindset. There is so much poverty in terms of leadership. There's so much people are not thinking, because they take us for a ride. I told you we are a docile people because we don't ask of them what they're supposed to do. I would speak at anybody when it comes to this matter. Stop giving me all that literature. I don't want it. Proper solutions. Tell me what you are going to do. Tell me how much money you need. to create this, to stop this, to open up this, to dredge this, and to do that. Look at the pictures that you have there. Look, you guys have done so good with the pictures that you have on there, the videos. This thing should be shown to the Minister of Interior and then the Minister of Local Government. And it should be taken to Parliament for them to see it with their own eyes.
Oh, they're seeing it.
How irresponsible can we be? Because the parliamentarians are leading us. So if you sit in Parliament without seeing this thing or identifying them, how many of them don't go through circle? Even if you don't go through circle, don't you ask your media friends that what do you see? Just a drone image of these things tells you that there are lots of squatters over there.
Absolutely.
There are lots of illegal structures over there. There are a lot of people doing terrible things over there. So, I mean, don't come and tell me stories. I've read in Ngugi Wathiongo's books and all that. It's fair enough for me in literature. Don't come and tell me anything. Work.
Cross, briefly, and then Mutala will come in with sports.
I think if we're looking at the conversation carefully, we can separate it into two. What to do to prevent the floods, what to do, into three rather, what to do while the flood is ongoing, and then what to do after the floods happen. So after the floods happen is the conversations we just had this morning, the engineering concerns, the cleanup concern, and then the other bit about rebuilding the lives and the livelihoods of people who have been affected by the floods. It should leave the table. It should leave the talk, and then some actions. We should begin to see some actions. Yes, some monies have been released by the president. What are the timelines we're looking at? Where do we expect to see the impact of the monies released by the president? Who is accounting for how much is being spent on where and by whom? Do you understand? Else, the next year when it happens again, we're going to have the same conversations. And I don't want to link it to the rainfall patterns. Yes, it is a contributing factor. But even before we got this highest rainfall that we've recorded, something milliliters and all of that, even before this, we're still flooding. So it really does not come into play here in my mind at all. So the conversation goes way beyond it to the solutions that we know we need to implement, why we have not implemented them, and then how we need to start implementing them so that we can see real change. Else, it's just a cycle that will be inside.
Right, guys, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll return. Pick quick thoughts before my guests will join me in the studio a lot later this morning as well. The only thing I'm going to say is that yesterday, watching the debate in Parliament, I was very angry. I'll be honest, because there was a lack of empathy, a lack of appreciation of where it is that we are at from both sides of the house.
Like empathy towards who?
Towards the ordinary Ghanaian
who illegally puts up certain structures.
You see, that's why for me,
I don't cry for people who put up illegal structures and they suffer these things. So
you see, that's why yesterday when you started and said it was government, I told you that it is all of us. And I just want to make the point that not everything must be subject to the arena of politics. And yesterday watching the session where the debate or comments were made, right? It was just comments. It was an arena of theatrics. Persons reminding others of what it is that we've done, monies that we've spent, this, that, and some persons laughing whilst all of that was happening. And I watched it in the newsroom. I mean, I was
what? Were you surprised?
A bit not surprised, but a bit livid.
Okay. Don't overrate people
as well in terms of
don't overrate
what it is that we saw happen. And for the ordinary Ghanaian, the politician or the politician you look up to, they don't really care like that.
You see, when we want to get into the sports about when we want to get into this matter, you'd realize that so-called ordinary Ghanaian will be defending the politician to the hilt. You get it? Even when they're doing something bad and you point fingers at them, they would snarl at you. So for me, I don't have pity on such people. My point is that when you have done wrong and it has crept up to your neck, you have to bear the brunt. For me, that is it. Otherwise, when we keep pampering people over and over and over like that, we'll get all these people sitting in parliament talking like that. Don't you forget that they are coming from our own loins. Those in parliament, they are not different. They are not superhumans. They are not superhumans. The point is that they are there because they are the most popular people, or some would have bought their way into it. But besides that, what else can they show to you? What else can they show to you, my brother? So I think those buildings are charred. All those things will be pulled down. Every place that was flooded,
I doubt they'll be pulled down. But I'm just gonna say this, right? That they don't really care like that. Watch the demeanor. Not sometimes don't look at the person who is speaking, right? Look at the colleagues around.
Yeah.
The jokes they are passing, the way they are laughing, and everything. And it will bring you to the realization that they don't really care like that.
JHS1, what do you expect?
Right. So, stop that person who is throwing rubbish into the drains. And there's been videos of persons, a number of persons who are doing that, even whilst it's been raining. Stop them.
I heard somebody did that and said, well, last one.
Yes, record them. And this was Medina yesterday.
Hey!
It was drizzling slightly, and someone was busily dumping refuse into the drains.
Meanwhile, this is a bin. Sitting right there.
There's a bin just there.
Yes.
And the guy rode and then took out the trash and whatever it is, was disposing the entire content into the bin, into the drain. Stop the person. Yes, it's good enough to record.
Yes,
but stop the person.
This person can be identified, right?
There are some people you can't stop. They are bigger than you.
Yeah, I mean, fair point. So, if you can't, report the person.
Take a photo and share. Can we do that on Sunrise?
Right.
If you see anything,
I mean,
take a photo,
and some of these were shared with us
here on Sunrise.
And that's why.
Let's give a special number.
There are others as well.
Mawuena,
so that
let's put up a special number, WhatsApp number. People can take videos or a link. They can forward it to the website, anything, so that it can be something that you can champion.
Citizen.
Yeah, you can champion it.
Because
so anywhere in your community, when you see it, take a photo, bring it to us. We'll follow through with the assembly member.
If we don't take some level of action and some level of responsibility, and we'll come to leadership in the course of the show. We'll come to leadership, right? But if you don't take some responsibility, some persons from within us will continue to contribute, even as we are holding leadership accountable. They will continue to contribute to the devastation that we witness, and it will collapse on all of us. That's the only statement I'm going to make. And then I'm going to bring in Mutala as well to help us do sports.
He should never talk about Cote d'Ivoire.
When we return, there will be a bit more before my guest will join me in the studio. I'll just speak quick thoughts again as well before my guest will join me in the studio. And we talk floods and what have you. But this is the 3FM Sunrise. Mutala is here. We'll get into sports right about now. Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Another of the African teams was knocked out yesterday.
What I just chanced on before coming to the studio? It felt awkward to me. I've seen a Spider-Man promo. It's like I think they want to premiere a new movie. Then
Messi
I saw
doesn't speak
Lionel
English.
Messi. It felt awkward. Lionel Messi.
US no quiet no. Yes,
Yeah, they didn't commercial.
Yes,
Now he said it to a Hollywood star.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I was thinking? He said about just 4 words in the whole program.
Cash out.
But I'm sure those 4 words contain about
years of work you do here.
There
you
was
will not see
2008. No, 2007. Which year did Ronaldo win the Ballon d'Or? 8. 2000, his first Ballon d'Or, 2008. He did an ad for a Saudi telecommunication company. It was a 16-second ad. Then he took about 18 million pounds. Then 16 seconds for saying, "Hi, I am Cristiano Ronaldo. Everybody should use so telecommunication." That was it.
Talk to me about Ivory Coast and stuff.
Ivory Coast. I mean, they were thinking, they thought that they were sending the game into extra time, and that is the mentality of a lot of these teams that usually doesn't help them, because whilst Norway felt once the final whistle hasn't gone, the game is still alive. So let's just keep playing. Ivory Coast were playing for the draw to see if it will enter extra time. And yesterday, you spoke about something here when we were talking about who could win the game. You said the game there, you wish Ivory Coast would win. But there's one man that could make the difference. You said it. You mentioned Erling Haaland. You said if Haaland is there, you wouldn't go past him, because 2 opportunities he will score. Yesterday, how many opportunities
it was just
he
one.
given? It was just one.
Just one.
It was just one, and he tapped the ball into an empty net to give them the lead. I mean, to give them the win. Cote d'Ivoire, I felt a bit sad for them. I thought the kind of urgency.
I didn't feel sad.
Well, I thought the kind
You know why I didn't feel sad? That defending for that goal was horrible, Michael.
It was terrible.
How do you leave? I was saying it this morning. He was alone, right? And for those who couldn't catch the game, it was live on TV too, so I'm sure a lot of you watched it, right? Go back and watch the goal, Haaland's goal, 90 plus. He was alone. He didn't kick the ball into the post.
No.
He actually was trying to tap. He was trying to control. It was a miscue.
You know the ball nearly got under his feet.
The goal was a miscue.
That is why he kept shaking his head, because he didn't get a proper connection. It was more
he was trying to control the ball and then score. The sheer fact that there was nobody
around him
was mind-boggling.
But there were 3 players who ran towards the one who gave the assist beg, and they all left Erling Haaland. The most dangerous player in that Norway team is Haaland. So why do you leave him on mark for him to tap a ball into an empty net like that? And you could see he kept shaking his head, because he nearly missed it. The ball nearly stuck under his feet. It was a miskick. Yeah, his father always at the stadium. So for me, Ivory Coast going home, I felt they had the talent, they had the quality to go past Norway. But again, as you said, there's one man that will always make the difference, Erling Haaland. Now he scored 5 goals, right?
Yeah, he's got 5
in this tournament. I mean, the goal king race for this tournament is just
or up to 6 already, and it's a round of 32. Mbappe is up to 6 as well. Who stops this French team? In sincerity,
is it a question you're asking me?
I'm asking. I believe the tournament is theirs, and I don't see any team stopping them. I'll be very honest.
Well, I have this feeling where my head says Portugal could win the tournament, but my heart says France are very strong. France are extremely strong. Spain, I don't even fancy Spain, because it looks like Lamine and Nico, who are not supposed to be their 2 best players.
That's why actually I've not even considered Spain in all of the conversations.
It's not really been rosy for them, but it looks like that French team is extremely strong in all departments. You saw Olise's bicycle kick.
4 attackers. Yeah, they start 4 attackers in a game. And they have a solid enough midfield. A lot of people question why Rabiot is always in the team. They don't know the work he does for the team.
Rabiot gives the team balance.
Right?
He gives the team balance.
And it allows for them to have 4 attackers. From the blast of the whistle, 4 attackers.
You see, he plays
quality.
He plays Rabiot and Tchouameni.
Yes.
In that midfield, and doesn't play Kante. If he had Paul Pogba, he would play Kante, and Pogba would be up front. But Kante and Tchouameni are similar players in terms of their defending. Rabiot bumps forward more. So you need Rabiot to give the balance. But have you noticed that Kylian Mbappe in the last like 2 years has modified his game. He's now more of a goal scorer than the youngster we saw at Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain. Blazing, running past players. When that is why I respect somebody like Lionel Messi. When you are aging, you need to modify your game. You can't be doing what you were doing some 10 years ago. Cristiano Ronaldo is now a goal machine. You modify your game to suit Harry Kane. It got to a point he was giving assists. He was trying to modify his game because you are slowing down. You can't be doing all the running again. But, I mean, 18 matches in the World Cup, scoring 18 goals for Kylian Mbappe. And he started playing the World Cup in 2018. This is wild. I feel he's the one that will break that Lionel Messi record.
Oh, he will shatter that record.
I have this feeling that Messi would end up scoring maybe 22 goals in this World Cup. But Kylian Mbappe still has one World Cup to play. He's now 27. He will definitely play one more World Cup.
Yeah, the next one he'll be 31, so he most likely will.
He might end up scoring like 30 goals before he leaves the football scene.
At the World Cup.
Yeah, he might end up scoring like 30 goals at the World Cup.
But in still in talking about the French team, Michael Olise, right? I put up a post yesterday and I was making the point that look, the French team looks unstoppable, but I think people should pick a cue from Luis Enrique's deployment when PSG faced Bayern in that Champions League semi-final.
How he stopped Olise and those people.
Take out Olise, and you may just have found a way to slow down.
There's this bromance between Olise and Kylian Mbappe. It looks like
he's provided 5 assists, the highest at the tournament.
And there's this thing that Deschamps is doing. Anytime they start the game, he starts from the wings. But when things
drifts into the middle,
he drifts into the middle and plays like that auxiliary number 10, where he tries to pin the ball to Mbappe. Mbappe is fast.
He's been spreading passes the entire tournament.
Just get Mbappe the ball. He's quick. Just get him the ball.
Even Messi will be jealous of what Olise is doing because there's
Messi chopping time with Di Maria.
That's what I'm saying, that even Messi will be jealous now.
Of course,
terms of what,
because you need someone to always get you the assist to score. And for me, I think France are extremely strong in this tournament. I think the only team that could really go toe to toe with them is Argentina. And well,
I don't see Argentina being.
It would even be difficult because Argentina have an aging team. I think France are very strong.
See, I will be the most excited individual if Argentina wins
because
the World Cup.
Your love for Messi.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right. I mean, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I don't see how they beat France. In fact, in the previous World Cup, when they were going up against France, I didn't think they were going to win. I'm being honest with you. But they won via penalties, and France was shambolic that entire game until they got that.
Yeah, I knew they would win because I felt the football needed to reward Lionel Messi. And that is the same way people feel football needs to reward Cristiano Ronaldo. No, people feel football needs to reward Ronaldo.
So all the juju people who are making comment, football and juju, India.
But you know, coming into the tournament, on paper, everybody tipped Portugal to win. But on the field, they've been very disjointed. They've not played as a unit, and it's one thing that is affecting them. But let's see, Kylian Mbappe now has scored 18 goals. Messi has 19. Messi will be playing Cape Verde, I think, in 2 days.
No, Mbappe has 18 in total.
Yeah, in total. Messi has 19.
Right.
And Messi will be playing Cape Verde. But the Cape Verde keeper vowed that he would actually make a name against Argentina, Vosinia. Because now his mother is in the US to witness all his games.
You know, persons who said that more often than not don't end up well.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest with you. In terms of the history of Messi, persons who've always said, we will stop him, we will do this, they are very embarrassed. Manuel Neuer, I remember that 2018 Champions League final where he dropped Boateng and lobbed the ball over him. Had gone into the press, was making a lot of comments, and he scored 2 past him that game. So, I mean, it will be great for African interests, but I like to be very realistic. In all of my analysis, if you granted to me that I've been fair, that they will put up a good fight.
As a Wenger say, you shouldn't ever say you stop Messi. That kind of comment would actually get him more angry.
Yeah.
And he plays with a free spirit, so there's no pressure on him because it feels like.
That's why I said don't say that.
I've shown everything
right?
that I can show in football.
Because
so he plays with less pressure, and when somebody plays with less pressure, they perform better because he doesn't expect anybody to. It's not now that we are coming to judge Messi that he's a good footballer or not.
The Austria game, he had a horrible start to the game.
Yeah.
In the end, he had the final say. He missed a penalty. He missed another open chance, very glaring chance. Messi on any day should have taken.
Have you had an opportunity of watching him in the MLS these days?
I've seen him a few times.
Okay.
Still
so
very.
He starts very poor.
Yeah.
But in the end, his name will be there. He has scored twice. He would always get either a brace and he would do something magical, like just one touch. He gets the ball. He's now always walking on the pitch, just scanning the pitch. He gets the ball.
He scans everywhere.
Before he gets the ball, he can just burst into life.
I always
with just one pass, splitting up the defense. He's just magical.
Let me.
No, there are some people that I always say that Messi are those type of players where I think if you wake him up right now, that he should go and play football, you play. What since we're in the dressing room, coach was talking, everybody was actually focused on the game. Messi was on his phone talking to his family on video call. But when we get into the game, he's the one that performs better. So
I'll come to you. I'll just make this one comment. Ali Duseidu. All right, right? He made one comment that when you begin football academies and all of that, they tell you that the best player is the one who always receives a pass and has space. And Messi always has that. Right? So that should tell you the gulf in quality and the worlds apart with which he plays. He always receives the ball.
The only person who confuses me
with space
with the Messi debate is Pep Guardiola. He says the most intelligent player he's worked with is Philip Lahm. But the best player he has seen is Lionel Messi.
2.7.
So there it is. 2 games today at least.
Yeah, games today.
Within daytime where you can watch. Not the dawn
Africa.
levels.
One African country is already back, going home. So Ivory Coast are expected to arrive in Abidjan today, but 2 other African countries will be playing. DRC, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are coming up against England. The England that we shut down. They are coming up against them. So let's see what they do. Then there's Belgium. This is one of the most open games that I think Senegal should go in with all their best because the Belgium team
they win that
is
game
not great. Belgium 2018 and Belgium now, the difference is that huge. They've declined. There's been a vast drop in quality. Senegal, you managed to get 3 points to qualify. They should make this come. But unfortunately, the Senegalese team
no, they line up.
And there are so many issues. Yeah. They left their chef at back in Senegal. They've not been paid their AFCON bonuses and all that. I mean, there are so many issues.
They line up the manner in which they did in that last game.
Yeah.
No Koulibaly, no any of those old Duades and.
But the England
others.
DRC game would be on TV3 and there will be live commentary on 3FM as well. 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
So
the game kicks off at.
The game kicks off at 4 p.m. So build up on TV3 starts at 3 p.m. Build up on 3FM starts at 3:30.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's an update on the Black Stars,
which I was
arrived in Kansas. Their equipment actually left yesterday because it's about a 30-hour drive from Rhode Island to Kansas. So the equipment left and they have arrived this morning in Kansas. So
1:30 a.m. Ghana time on Saturday
against
right?
Colombia. Let's see what happens.
We leave it in God's hands. I'm sure tomorrow and then Friday.
What haven't you left in God's hands in
Friday,
this country?
We'll see.
What haven't you left in God's hands? What haven't you left in God's hands? You throw rubbish in the gutter choke. You say you leave it in God. Should God come and do some lion job for you?
As for that one, when you say it, you're very right. That's Mutala Yakubu with Sports for us. We're going to go for a break. When we return, we have a bit more for you here on the show. Stay with us. This is the 3FM Sunrise. what ought to have been done, what needs to be done. Where are they? Who gave them the permits to build in waterways, resulting in the destruction? Somebody has lived somewhere since 2007. Not once have they experienced flood. And 2 years from today, epicenter day, buildings begin to spring up. And suddenly their homes are inundated. 52 years plus, slaving in another man's land, returns home in a lack of planning. Cost this individual, and not just lots of other persons. Or we're in the regions of 20 plus individuals who have lost their lives as a result of perennial floods. The fact that we say perennial means it's happening every year. Almost like a celebration of mediocrity, a celebration of nothingness, a celebration of a people who have refused to do anything.
If I see old and when the old girl sees the young.
And so from assembly persons watching on and allowing people build to folks dumping refuse openly in waterways. We've all seen the videos on social media, the Odo drain, what it looked like. It looked like an entire refuse dump had been thrown into the drains and it was gathering and moving towards the sea. But the truth is, it's your small rubbish, your neighbor's small rubbish, another person's, all coming together, constituting the nuisance. Yesterday, Armstrong was in the Odo drain. The silt in the drain was comfortable enough for him to stand in. No fears. Silt everywhere. Drains choked. We'll ask the same questions, pretend to solve the same problems until next year again. Or even if the predictions by Meteo are anything to go by, tomorrow and then Friday, even more rain. I'm just going to come back to my colleagues Crosby and Patrice and quick thoughts again in relation to this. I mean, I hearing that sound, particularly from Clagon
the man spent 52 years in UK and came back, and people building at the back. You see, the point is, it goes back to the assembly. The works engineer. Who is the works engineer? You know, these are the people we need to be speaking to. Look, I think we just dawdle around a lot of things. It is direct. The problem is the assembly, because they do what we call rezoning. There's a place that is waterlogged. There's a place that is not supposed to be inhabited by people. They go and do rezoning. A road, an access route to a community was rezoned by TDC. And the lawyer proudly said, we are going to rezone this area. They rezoned it. They have blocked the fence, the road with a fence wall. So when it rains, now even they themselves are not able to walk in. So my point is, this man has toiled in the UK, has come to Ghana, has built 78 years, strong man. What is the problem? He sees people building behind his house where it's supposed to be a buffer zone. Who is he going to report to? He goes to the assembly to report. Gets to the assembly, reports to the assembly, nobody flinches. Why? Because they have taken monies from those people. They are seeing that somebody has paid thousands of cedis or dollars to them. They will take that money and say, fill the place up and then build something over there. Now the man is in serious trouble. Who is going to help him at this age? Who is going to help? Who's he going to call on? So for me, the problem is that we are only going back and forth about it. Everywhere has an assembly. the assembly has a task force. The responsibility of the task force is to ensure that people do the right thing. And when you don't do the right thing, you are taken on. But no, look, stop going to parliament. You waste your time going to parliament to have these discussions go on. You waste your time. It's not parliament that's supposed to deal with this thing. Right. I'm telling you.
Right. Crosby, I'll pick a
question. Mawuena will be to ask that is, maybe you can help me, is failure to carry out your responsibility as a public official, is it a crime? Is it something that can be punished? If it is, and I've said this before, this is the solution that I, for instance, am proposing. We see the work that the Public Accounts Committee does.
Yes.
Where they bring the various agencies.
The theater, you mean the theater?
Yes, the theater that they do. They bring them and then they ask them questions about where monies have gone to, and they try to surcharge them. There are conversations about recovery and all of that. This is what I'm saying, that we should find something like that for the various assemblies. So with what has happened recently, I mean a few days ago, so there's the Assembly's Account Committee.
Right.
We're not looking for, that one is separate. We're not looking for what money you spent, where the money went. So that's not what we're doing.
Yes.
So there's another, if you like, agency that goes round, separate of the assemblies, to go and look for buildings that are in areas that should not be there.
Right.
So they make a list of those buildings, building owners, they link it to which, who was there when these titles or permissions were granted. Right. Then they come to this Assembly's Account Committee, and then they call you, Lejokuku MC, come, sit down. We went to your assembly, and then we found 13 buildings in these areas that should not be there. 13 of the buildings, 10 of them have permits. Who issued the permits? Is it your signature that is on the permit? No. Whose signature is that? Whose name is that? Where is the person? Bring the person. We deal with the person.
I don't like it when you say deal with the person. We jail the person.
We jail the person.
You see?
You see? And so this is what I think we can do to put the assemblies on their toes. If we cannot, for the sake of politics, do it properly, then let's get this done. Bring them one by one. Even before the floods happen, this agency goes around to the various assemblies, finds the places that should not be inhabited. And then you find people are there. No problem, I don't say anything. When it is your turn to come and face the committee, you come and they will show you that this house should not be there. This house has been there for the past 3 years. You've been the DC, the MC, the assembly member, you've been whoever for the past 5 years. So you have seen it. Why is it still there? We punish you. You understand? We, as you put it, we jail you. I think this would be a very nice way to put the various assemblies on their toes so that they don't do what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. Else, we'll be having this conversation. They'll be dilly-dallying around in the arena of politics, saying that there's nothing they can do, their hands are tied and all of that. If you publicly name and shame, you call this MC, Codjoe, you are MC for this place. These structures are developing at where they should not develop. Is this something you should do that you're not doing? It's not me. It's my MP who says I should keep quiet. Oh, your MP says keep quiet. Bring your MP. Then you are naming and shaming, and people will now begin to be aware that, Charlie, if I'm not careful, I'll be brought before this committee and I'll be blasted. I think it's a good way to start.
Right, gentlemen.
Thank you. I think it is fine. I mean, what should happen is that we need to deal with these people. If we don't deal with those in authority, and the point is that let us stop taking task force from Accra to stay in Accra. This is where the original and real transfer has to happen. Why do I say so? When you put people in the Lejokuku municipality, the assembly, they are very familiar with those around. Auntie Amoko wants to do something, they just call
nothing will change.
Sister Aya wants to do this. So bring people from the Volta region, cross them to the eastern, take people from the eastern to the north, take from the
shuffle
north,
a few things.
Shuffle them, because when they come, they are working with a plan. No house is supposed to be here. No road is supposed to be here. No kiosk is supposed to be here. You are not supposed to squat here. So theirs is that they are bringing brute force. We are destroying everything. If we don't do that, nothing will happen to us.
Patrice, thank you. Patrice and Noble Crosby, and they are my colleagues in studio this morning as well. I'm thankful to say two of my guests for the weekly review have joined me in studio this morning. George AEC is former head of communications at the National Disaster Management Organization. He is one person who will be very important in our conversations today. He's also a member of the NPP's communication team and very well respected individual in that regard as well. Malik Adama, also in studio with me as well this morning. He is a member of the NDC's communications team. Gentlemen, good morning to you both. I trust that all is well with you and you've been keeping safe us even as the rains have been coming down hard on all of us in the capital.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Right. Mr. Isi, if I say I'm tempted to start with you, I'll be telling lies. I actually want to start with you because of the cap you've worn in the past, right? You wore a cap as a key player in NADMO for 8 years and what have you. And so you better appreciate what's happened, the work that's been done, and all of that. Floods in the capital, Accra. How have we failed to get it right and to help prevent it in the scale and manner in which it continues to go every year?
Yeah, thank you. Can I have the name of my host?
Oh, I'm Mawuena.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mawuena Egbeta.
Hey, you changed from TV. Okay.
Oh, you know me on TV.
You said, you know.
Yes, on radio.
Anyway, that's good. Good morning, and good morning to my colleague here and our listeners and viewers. Yes, the flood management matters in Ghana. Mawuena, it's actually basically a structural matter. It is structural. And the state must, and I know that the state is aware that it is predominantly a structural matter. By structural, I'm talking about the engineering or re-engineering of Accra as far as flood management is concerned. I say this with the benefit of hindsight. Let's take a look at Alajo. If you remember, once upon a time, Alajo was a very flood-prone area. A certain government decided to do something, which is the construction of some major storm drains. Yeah. And then we saw that it abated for some time. It's in recent years that it started flooding again. And so it tells us that if we take the right decision and construct the proper, storm drains, which is really related to engineering matters, we'll be able to get a solution to these major problems. The President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has said that he spoke about the situated nature of Accra between the sea and then the Ebri Hills, the Equapim ranges. And so that is true. And when it rains there, there's a report, the 2015 June 3rd disaster report, which captures that succinctly and made some recommendations that there should be the construction of retention ponds. And so, again, structural matters, engineering matters. From the Adenta, Yarifa area all the way to the Odo. You get it? And so this is something that is captured in the June 3rd, 2015 disaster report, which is there. If there's any government to be blamed, yes, we can take part of the blame because the report has been there since then. You get it? And we, as a government, then should have, when I was speaking for NADMO, I was wondering why we were not minded to implement some of these, and it's cost matter, And so I was one of the people who were excited when the Garage project came on board, it's Greater Accra. And these major recommendations were to be implemented in the Greater Accra region, So I was excited. And yes, Garage funds were disbursed to some of the contiguous districts, about 17 of them that were directly going to be being affected by these flood matters. And so they thought some of these engineering things will help abate the challenges of flooding in these contiguous districts. it's some monies were disbursed to the assemblies to manage these things. So that one we may talk about that. I've had the privilege, Mawuena, to be in a program with an engineer, you know, and he brought up something interesting. He spoke about. He said the size of our drains are also some of the things we need to consider. Because when they are making the engineering calculations with coefficients and others, they factor the land area vis-a-vis the built area where there are concretes and others. And so if the area is a bare land with grass and others, the size of the drain is smaller than when the place is a concrete area. Mawuena, you agree with me that over time, we've developed most of our bare lands into concrete or built areas. And again, we've even captured or taken over Ramsey sites. When I was growing up, anytime we came to Tema, we were coming to Accra. From Tema to Accra, in between those places, there were big Ramsey sites along the route. You get it? And those Ramsey sites were to collect water, okay? And then gradually evaporate, and then, you know, so it helps in managing flood. But we've, you know, covered them and built in those areas. Ministers are trying their best to be, you know, trying to reclaim those things. But it's going to be difficult because they are built areas now. You get it? And so these are things we need to do. A government must decide that we are going to restructure or re-engineer the city of Accra. And then if we have to break some houses. In fact, the garage project, part of it was about, you know, some houses were going to be affected so that there will be major drains constructed. Let's get to that and invest money in that to re-engineer Accra. If there's a record, if you read history, Benjamin Disraeli, a former British Prime Minister, in his time, in the 80s or early 90s, tax where, you know, the Thames was flooding and then London was having problems. He said, come on, why do we have engineers here? Take tax. He taxed the engineers and they found a solution to the problem. That is a similar vein that I'm proposing to our governments to see if we can sit with our engineers and other experts in that area to see how we can find solutions. But as I said, it's structural. We need to focus on that and find the money for this. Is a capital-intensive thing. The second alternative, which many people wouldn't want, is to maybe consider relocating the capital. That is not funny. You get it. People wouldn't be too. But it is also, you know, Nigeria did it. Lagos, the administrative capital, made it commercial, moved the administrative capital to Abuja. You get it. It's a decision that governments can look at. Accra, is it that, one, we are below sea level, it's a fact, and then trapped between the Equapim Hills and then the sea, and the flooding is giving us problems. Can we look at the possibility of relocating our capital from Accra maybe to Kintampo or maybe to Chifupra? So I've read some literature that says that is a place that is a possible consideration for relocation of the capital, or wherever we decide, so that we decongest the city a little, and then the human traffic will move to that area, and some of these problems can be solved. Or whilst we do that, then we begin to do the engineering thing to solve the Accra flooding situation. It is capital intensive. We cannot gloss over that. A government must design. And the last one, before my colleague comes in, I must say this, having been in office for the 8 years and then things that I've observed, we made some travels, and when we engaged outside of Ghana, and you see the seriousness that other countries attach to disaster management vis-a-vis what we're doing. Mawuena, Ghana doesn't take disaster management as a priority. I must say this. It doesn't seem to be our priority. And so we need to have budget. Yes, we make budgets under Ministry of Interior and others, but the funds are located, not the aftermath of disaster relief support and co. I'm talking about proper management processes, which involves the pre-disaster, the disaster, and the post-disaster, the training, engagement, sensitization, and then some of these infrastructure construction and co by the assemblies, the hydromet, and other related bodies, so that these investments will help reduce or abate the effects of flooding on the people. Last one again is about the human responsibilities that maybe as we go, or maybe we'll touch on that, which has got to do with waste.
Attitudinal changes.
Yeah, attitude and His Excellency, I heard the President again speak to the people about that. I heard His Excellency, the former Vice President, also speak to us on our attitudes and co. And every person who matters in these flood issues touches on that attitude. In fact, before we got to studio, a friend called me and she was angry that the human attitude, throwing of refuse and all that is not the best. And so we need to engage our people, the assemblies, and then to make sure these attitudes, the AMA has some bylaws that sometimes they arrest people and they punish them. But how deterrent is it? You get it? Sometimes I'll be tempted, you and your camera people go around. The AMA and the KMA and the Takrady Assembly and co, they are part to blame sometimes. You know why? Because they have the containers at Kanish, at wherever, and sometimes they are overfilled and they don't take them. The rains come, they wash them away. You get it? And so timely disposal of refuse containers and co by the assemblies is something that we ought to look at whilst we engage our people on their attitude to waste management and flooding.
Mr. Isi, thank you very much for these opening comments, and I'm going to come to you again, and I'll stay with you a bit more because of the experience and expertise in relation to the work that you've done in the past, and so thank you for that as well. I'm going to come to my other guests, and I appreciate you as well for joining me in studio. Your thoughts initially as well on the flooding situation, Malik, what we are seeing play out, and why it continues to persist after so many long years. It's almost a century since floods began to trouble us before independence.
I saw a graphic headline in the 60s.
As far back as 1935, Accra had experienced floods. And so we're almost nearing a century, 100 long years, and we're still gathering around the table, having the same conversations and what have you.
Yeah, thank you, Mawuena. Let me first say good morning to Mr. President, good morning to the Vice, who is my mother, and good morning to yourself and my colleague here, our listeners too. Yes, I agreed with my colleagues on a lot of things that he said, both engineering and reality. Yes, when it comes to mitigating the floods in Greater Accra, sincerely speaking, it is structure work. As he said, it is a purely structure work. And it is very, very capital intensive. Very, very capital intensive. It is possible to minimize floods in Accra. We can minimize it to a very, very, very low percent, which is possible if we should do things right. What are the right things am I saying? As he earlier said, which I agree with him, the structures. And also we should be able to have something that we call stopover, such as it looks like when you are putting up a house and then you have a chamber before the manhole itself, where the water will store temporarily and then move to its destination.
That's what I
yes, we used to have them, and the essence of it is to hold the water temporarily and then distribute, because the pressure, all the water can't move into its destination. We have them in the various places, such as Labadi, where the bridge is. That was the purpose for it. And then Sakumono Ramza site, we were having this, that pool there, which is so huge, is also gone. Those things were there to just cushioning the water before it allows it to move into the sea. Those things were, currently as we are speaking, they are not in existence again because of what human encroaches. So those things are not in existence. But as we said, yes, when we do a lot of construction, some of the drains, The volume of the drains are small to the extent that they cannot contain the waters that passes through them. That is one. Some of them too have been sealed by dirt. That is the refuse, even sand and coal, which we have to start what? Distilling them. This, if we don't do, we will still encounter what is happening today, and it will happen forever. Accra by nature, the land is clay. Accra by nature. That is how come when you put up a house in Accra, within 2-3 years, the house settles, you see some cracks because it is clay. And clay doesn't soak much water. It soaks a bit, just little a bit, and the rest suspends. So if it's a clay, and then the water doesn't get access to move, what does it do? It spread across. Wherever it gets, it spread. So the problem is access of water. That is the challenge we are having. The access of water is so difficult. I agree with him when he spoke about Alajo. Some years back in 90s, somewhere 96, there about in 95, if you recall, Ashama was facing similar problem. Storm drains have to be constructed in Ashama to stop those things. When you look at Sukura, Russia, they were encountering similar problems. Storm drains have to be constructed there. Nima, between Nima and Mamobi, we used to have similar problem. Even the then President Rawlings would storm there, enter inside the gutter, removing some of the waste there, and we've been laughing at him. All those things are simple because there wasn't access for the water to flow. But when those storm drains were constructed, it ceased up to today. Even what occurred the day before yesterday, those areas didn't flood because the water flows. We have a well-constructed drain, which is well calculated, and the water flows. That is what we need now. And it is capital intensive, as he said, which is true. It is very, very capital intensive. Construction is expensive. Concrete works are extremely expensive. So if we want to minimize or even stop the floods, we can't stop it completely, but we can minimize it drastically in Greater Accra. Then we need to pump in cash money and then construct most of the drains and also connect areas that don't have drains. Another place, somebody will go and buy a land in an area and then put up a house. Others will see, also go and put up various houses there without a gutter, without simple drain. When it rains, those areas will flood. Why will it flood? It will flood because there's no access for the water to flow. So if there's no access for the water to flow, automatically the water will spread there and be there. That is the challenges we've been having throughout. When I was coming, I listened to one gentleman, the 78-year man, who was talking about Klagon. Klagon by nature is waterlogged area, if you know Klagon extremely well. When you get to Shalom Spot, just after Shalom Spot, those areas all are mad. And there is a water from the motorway. There's this big drain from motorways, even a river or stream, that passes through just after the Shalom Spot up to the lagoon at Sakumono. And then it spreads sometimes because it is not constructed. That area is not constructed. So it spreads. So in that area, if you build anyhow, you will face challenges until it is being rezoned. And the rezone should be done before the construction even takes place. What are the reasons am I talking about? One, they should construct the storm drains across there and maybe construct the road, which will look like a service plot, construct it, and then put the small drain, that is 0.6 drains, put them to connect the storm drain, and then you are allowed to put up your house. With that, even if there will be flood, it will be very minimal. Once that, it can be controlled. But what we see today, yes, we will encounter it until we start putting up the storm drains to support or to ease the pressure of water that flows. Simply what occurred at Circle is as a result of the space, that is the river, the boundary of the river couldn't contain the water. What caused it? Field caused it. Field caused it. So the water couldn't flow. Sand, a lot of sand. So it couldn't contain it. Because it couldn't contain it, overflows. Because the volume becomes smaller than the space. That is exactly what occurred. That is, so construction aspect is there. And periodically maintenance. That's periodically clearing, distilling, continue distilling what? those drains consistently, maybe periodically, monthly basis or 2 months periodically, I think we will ease it. And then the other side of it is the human nature. The human nature also, yes, contributes some significant percentage, not excessive anyway. And it normally affects the small drains. That's the 0.6 drains, the 0.3, and then the 2, not the stone ones, because it seals. When you put refuse in these small drains, what does it do? It blocks it. So whenever it rains, it doesn't get access to flow. So it overflows the road and keep flowing the road, and then the road all becomes full. Look at what happened at Jolo.
3FM 92.7.
Simple and short, where the shell is, that is North Jolo on the N1. There was a drain under the N1 which goes through Villaggio and then goes through Shangri-La behind the airport and then go and gather at Labadi where the lagoon is. Before later it will pass through the bridge that they are doing to the sea. But when the road was contracted and buildings, which I don't name, big buildings came, the volume of the drain becomes smaller. So the access of flow wasn't enough. So automatically it overflows to the road. It overflows to the road. So before we can solve it, unless construction, we re-expand that drain so the water can flow and redirect it to wherever it's supposed to go. I'm of the opinion that when we are doing this, we shouldn't go in that we are going to demolish homes, but we should go in as we are going to construct drains.
But homes will have to make way for the
I'll get there.
drains.
I'll get there. You don't go with the purpose as if you are going to demolish homes. You are going with the purpose that you are going to construct drains as we construct roads. So when you are constructing the drains, any structure, not necessarily home, any structure that is on the way will be cleared.
Right.
No matter the structure will be cleared.
Not just going to demolish buildings and leave them.
In the purpose of constructing a drain, you demarcate your portion, you demarcate your allowable allowance, and then go into construct your drain. When you are constructing, any obstacle on the way should move as we construct roads. You see how we construct roads? Obstacle on the way will go away. Then the allowable allowance that we need will be taken, and we leave your portion for you. So those things that's how it was done with Alajo. So they didn't go in purposely to demolish home. It was done by TSEC. Not necessarily we are going to demolish home to now construct the drain. You will have it wrong. But go in as you are going to construct the drain. You know the size you want, you know the allowable space you want, and then start taking. If it affects any structure, you take the structure out, and then you construct your drain.
Right.
I think when we do that, we will save homes. Somebody can get his bedroom without getting his hall. He will work on it. Somebody will get his hall without working. We will work on it. And also about our behavior character. I think it's two sides of the issue. Whilst we are accusing ourselves, we should also look at another side. Another side is that sometimes it is very difficult to find even dustbins on the way. That is a fact. So sometimes when you are even holding bottled water, not even the water, you are holding bottled. You drink water and you are holding the bottle. You find it very difficult to find a dustbin to put it in. So the stubborn ones will just look left and right and throw it somewhere. The same way happens to when you are holding sachet, pure water, rubber, because we don't have the dustbin at a particular points or strategic points where if someone walks at least about 500 meters or even 1 kilometer may see a dustbin and put it in. So whilst we are talking about our behavior, we should also make a noble environment in a manner that those things too can reduce, people can contribute. I sometimes hold rubber and then drive for about 5-10 kilometers without seeing where to place it. And then you leave it in the car until you get home or you get somewhere before you remove it. So until we get these things too, believe me to say, we will educate people, but yes, still those things will not solve.
Malik, thank you. On the dustbin matter, we've seen dustbins distributed. And then persons, instead of using it to collect rubbish, they use it to store water at their homes. I mean, we've seen reports of such nature. People come and steal the dustbin. So at some point in time, they were chaining the dustbins to metal posts, which makes it difficult when waste collectors come around to even now wanting to pour the. So at the base, the attitudinal problem as well, because this morning I've been showing videos of persons who are dumping refuse even as it was raining.
Yeah. That one is part of our norm now. People pile it when the rains begin, then the flood waters will take them to where they have to be, and they go to choke.
But at the heart of this as well is a problem of waste management.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can argue persons dispose of waste indiscriminately and they are throwing rubbish in gutters and what have you. But even the rubbish that is collected from our homes, the people who decide to store and keep the refuse and hand it over to refuse collectors, where do they end up? It's a question that is being asked as well.
Yeah, landfill sites.
And co. Where are they ending up? Such that when it rains, it doesn't just sweep into drains.
But Mawuena, I think we can start from the homes first, and then look at the disposal points too.
Because yesterday
the homes are very, very important first. You know, we spoke about the bins, that people carry the bins and then store them with water. Yes. We can also design a bins that you cannot store water in them. We can equally do something like that. You make it in a form of net. It should be in a form of net. People wouldn't use it. And what I'm even saying is on the public places, even TV3 here, just go out, walk from here to the curve behind the GBC and see whether you will see even single one on the road. So assuming somebody drank water and is walking, or somebody ate something and is holding the waste and then walking from here to that distance, which is about 600 meters plus or minus, without finding a dustbin, what will the person do? We just look at some corner and then leave it there. So whilst we are advising ourselves, we should also make, as I said earlier, a noble environment. Let's put it there. And if the person did not do that, we now question the person. Then we start talking about it. So it is the two sides of the argument. And we can introduce then we were calling them Sama, the Tangas people, the town country. So we call them Tangas. Let's introduce them. They sanitize our communities, believe me. They sanitize, because when we were young, and then when they are coming, our mummies will run and then go and cover any rubbish which is around just because they don't want them to come and see and then find them. So when we introduce them, and then they come house to house, watch your area, the gutters in your front. If it's choked, they will find you. You wouldn't like to pay. So every week, you force to clean, to tidy up all the gutters in your front, because you'll be fined and you'll be paid. To avoid paying maybe 500 Ghana, 400, 300, I will clean there every Saturday morning. So that place will look tidy, and then avoid paying. So by so doing, one, we are tidying up the nation, and then two, we are also avoiding floods in those areas.
Right.
So yes, thank you.
I'll come to Mr. Isi on the waste management bit. Then from there, I'll stay with him a bit longer because of the NADMO Disaster Fund.
That's right.
We've not heard a lot about it and the role it's supposed to play. Then the aftermath of June 3 and the lessons, what was the plan? How was it supposed to deal with flooding such that we are still where we are? So, Mr. Isi, talk to me on waste management, because I know NADMO, as part of the work you do, all of that comes up for consideration. You're talking with the assemblies and all of that. What is the national plan, at least from the conversations you had, in dealing with waste management? Because it's a huge factor in all of the things that we see.
Yeah, waste management is key. That's why under our administration, then we consider the Ministry for Sanitation and Water Resources. this government, His Excellency the President doesn't think it's wise to have a separate Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. So he's made it back to the Ministry of Local Government. I ain't got no problem with that. Once there will be efficiency. In fact, last time I listened to the local government minister, I thought his thinking and approach is not bad. He says they're going to release funds to the assemblies on waste management, and they are going to hire their own waste management. Hitherto, Zoom Lion was all over the place. Yes. Now they want the assemblies to decide which waste management companies will manage their waste in their locality. I listened to the Honorable Minister, and I thought, okay, if by doing so there can be efficiency brought to bear on waste management, that will be okay. You get it? And so when we were doing the national thing, the assemblies were an integral part. And of course, the assemblies are directly under the local government ministry. So it makes sense if they want to get the local government to do that waste management. And NADMO is part of the assembly. We see on the assemblies committees and co. So these things are discussed from time to time. And that's where initially I spoke about the disposal of the waste by the assemblies after the containers are put there and they're full. And that's where we spoke about the landfill site and all that. So we should have the resources available to the managers or those who are in the waste management sector in the country so that they will be paid as and when their payment is due. Then they can carry out efficient management. Then there will be a site designated for them to go and dispose of the waste. There's another challenge on our hands. These Abubuya guys, you get it? That's also another difficult challenge.
Yeah, huge problem.
Yes, landfill site issues, they go to a point. So I was happy when you spoke about that management system. They get to a point and then they've taken it from the homes, then they get to somewhere and they dump it and they move away. That is a challenge to waste management by the assemblies, you get it? And so if we have proper waste management agencies like Zoom Lion and those other ones who come to our homes, pick the dustbin in front of our homes, empty it, and then move on, that will be good for all of us. And at a minimal fee, there are some people who cannot afford, and that's affordability is part of the reason they wait for the rains and then they dump them and move away. So that is one thing we need to look at, and that's a serious national agenda in waste management. It's capital intensive again. That place also takes a huge chance.
It's a lot of capital intensive.
Yes. Apart from the structure, and our waste management itself is another thing on issue. And again, we are lucky we have waste management companies that are, you see, solid waste. You're able to separate those things, the plastic waste and others. You see, they can use it for other things. If we can encourage these bodies to have that, I see them going for empty sachet, this and then plastic bottles. It's good for recycling and all that. One other thing we need to look at, which is a challenge, my brother suggested, Malik suggested, we have perforated bins and others. It's true. But Mawuena, another difficult group that we are having to deal with. In fact, these days, they are taking gutters, metals, those waste abochi guys. They take those perforated things, and then now, bridges, the metal, this thing, you see them pulling it out to go and sell. You get it? That is a challenge that all of us as citizens, we should be watchful, okay, and look around our community. As well, we know that every neighbor is like a vigilante or a watchdog on the community and his assets and co. So let's begin to look at it that way and see that these people who are in the name of doing business with this thing, what's the name of that? The things, the abochi guys, the things the scrap dealers. The scrap dealers, we see that they do their works properly and not try to sabotage national assets. for their personal gain. So these are things that we need to look at as far as waste management is concerned. Let's push resources into it.
Mark Ewusi has joined us. He's a convener of Election Watch Ghana. I'll come to Mark shortly, but talk to me about the disaster fund.
Yeah.
It's very important. Yesterday we had the Korle Klote, Member of Parliament, speak to it and said, has it been operationalized?
Very well. There's a little challenge. You see,
where are we?
Section 48 of Act 927 spells out that there should be a disaster fund. And that disaster fund is about 3% of the Assembly's common fund. And unfortunately, any time they disburse MP's common fund, this fund also moves. Unfortunately, from my experience in office, it's mainly for administrative purpose. Mainly. You get it? And so I was wondering if we can achieve our target. Okay? Look at every district in Ghana has an admin office. Okay? And so when we started, we saw that, look, every time the fund comes, part is disbursed to every district. Okay? And that is administrative. And then the contingency funds for disaster response and others, okay? So if we want to involve in major infrastructure, maybe the fund is meant for these administrative and then disaster response. That is it. But if we want to embark on major things that can improve sanitation and then flood controls and co, we need to take a look at it. I said there will be a problem, or there's a little problem, because you see, Act 927 must be operationalized. If it's fully operationalized, we need an LI, a legislative instrument.
So it means as it stands, it's not fully operationalized.
Yes, because the LI is not in place. In fact, when we were in office, there was a technical team that was working in partnership with some lawyers and then members of parliament who, in fact, the MPs were ready. Anytime we sent something, they were ready to look at it, and they were eager to get the thing. Once it gets to them fully concluded, they will push it for the passage of the bills to make it the LI to be functional. But unfortunately, the technical thing, they will they've not concluded before we left office. I'll entreat the current administration and leadership of NADMO to take another look at it and push these LI so that it will be passed. Once it's passed, there are punitive measures, and you need a LI so that judges will know how to handle offenses that are committed under the Act. You get it? So that there's recommendations, and when this is done, this is the punishment. When somebody is going to build, very interesting, you need to have a disaster clearance certificate signed by the Director General of NADMO. You get it? So, and then if you are going to occupy a property, you need those things. You get it? And so why will
you need those things?
Is it?
If you are going to build, you need a disaster management
clearance.
Why will you need it?
No. You know what? It's even now is there. You know why? Some people go for permits to put up a one-story.
You go and they end up doing 2, 3.
2, 3. Meanwhile, the soil structure, this thing is not for,
No.
Yes.
So it all is under the supervision of the engineers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Not necessarily NADMO.
No, again.
It is in a second. And it is the plan that you submitted to the Assembly for permit. It is their responsibility.
Yes.
But when it comes to that is the plot or the nature of the land, or whether it is for construction of buildings or it is not supposed to be for homes, it is solely meant for the physical planning. So they go there. Currently, what they do is that when you apply for permit, they are the first point of contact. They go and look at the land first. If it's a buildable land, before they give you the bill, you are admitted to pay. So you don't necessarily need this. People, the floods, forgive me, for floods,
927.
that's fine. The floods and
it's for a purpose.
Permit does not necessarily mitigate floods and code, no, with a due respect. And permits does not also mitigate maybe collapse of a building, no. It is purely maybe bad job by the clients.
You could get permits and
do the wrong thing.
And do the wrong thing. And
Yes.
you could get permits on the wrong land as well.
It's also there.
People are
but
giving
with the
permits for houses to be built on Ramsey.
I'm coming. Yes, on the absorption, you see, they are giving the permit on the absorption of rezoning. You get it? On the assumption of rezoning.
So,
which is, I'm talking
pure
pure engineering. So I've put politics aside.
Sure. I mean, because you are speaking based on your background.
Thank you.
Right.
Even you can derive from what I'm saying.
Yes. It's purely from your background in terms of engineering.
Thank you. So it is not necessary about, what am I saying? I'm just confused. It is not.
Permit is not. Permit does not. Guarantee against.
No. The simple reason is that there can be an area which is intended to be rezoned. So if it's intended to be rezoned, those places will be allowed to put up those buildings because it will be rezoned to maybe residential.
3FM 92.
So it will be allowed. Then with time, they rezone it. So sometimes they give permit based on these reasons.
But why are they not rezoning first?
That is the argument we should be making
so
now.
that we will see what the rezone area will look like. Where are the clearly demarcated drains? How are we?
So my earlier submission. I said so. My earlier submission, I even related to Klagon. That is a muddy area, but it can be rezoned. After constructing the storm drain, they can construct the inner rows and then the small drain 0.6 small drain to convey water. It can be rezoned before construction goes. Remember I said so.
Yeah.
But sometimes, because it has been said that it's going to be rezoned, they have their boundary and then they will, from the beginning to the boundary, they will just leave it for people to start building. And then they will build anyhow. Then when rain falls or situations such as what happened this week occurs, then they will be in trouble. But by then, because of the intent that they have to rezone the place, they've given permits. And another thing I'm saying is that, which my brother said, you see, sometimes you bring your design, everything. The engineers will go through, structure engineers go through, everything is perfect. You will start constructing, they will come to site, the specifications, everything is correct. But you will get a wrong artisan who cannot drain the drains together. And then the thing will separate. I, as engineer, will never know. Because I will come and see 20 mm rod, which is recommendable for cantilever. I will applaud you. I'll come and see this, I will applaud you. They are all at the side. I will come and see you burning them, fixing them, I will applaud you. But at the end of the day, when you are arranging them, and then they are not well arranged, no matter the specification, it will come down. You understand?
Fair.
And the engineer cannot control this. That is where sometimes people don't get it. That is where I'm coming from. So it is not always about they didn't look at it, they didn't, and they have the other ones who go in for 2-story building and end up putting up 3-story building or more. They are also there. So clearly, to me, I don't see, though it is in the airline, but I don't see how it will benefit if you have to get a clearance as what is the name? That is disaster clearance certificate. Because some of the buildings, you go in for environmental clearance, you go in for fire clearance before even you'll be given the permit. And it's purely the physical planning's responsibility. You should go and look at the site. If the site is not meant for building, they won't give you permit. They do now. I can speak for Abokobi and Co, which I know as a matter of fact that's the first point of contact. They will charge you everything, which ranges around 3,000 to 9,000 based on what you want to do. Then they will go with a team and go and look at the place, just look at it like this and come back and then come and prepare your permit fee for you, then you pay. And I think other assemblies who are not doing that should take you and do that.
Right. I'm going to bring in Mark Usiako, is a convener of Election Watch Ghana, is a regular here with us on a Wednesday. Mark, we're talking floods, and then it happens every year. Your thoughts generally on everything, and where we go from here, such that it's not just everyday talk. Next year we'll be here. We'll be talking about the same thing again.
Definitely.
You know, it's become tiring somewhat.
Broken record.
My prayer, my prayer is that this 300 million. One, we should look at always dredging the Odo. You know, the course of the flood at Odo is full of sand.
Yeah,
so the volume of water cannot flow. So we should be dredging it once in the 2 months or once in the 3 months consistent. That is one. Two, just let's identify the strategic places that what's the name? The bridges fail. Sometimes the bridges are low, so the water cannot go through. Then they overflow. Between Kisema, that's Christian Village, and Pillar 2, that bridge there always fail. Let's look at that one. There are other ones that we don't know. Let's use this money and look at the very serious areas, and then even look at places such as Abofu. There are some places that the concrete, the side and side, has peeled off. So they look at those areas with some of this money to fix those areas so that it wouldn't be overflow. At least we can assess, and then the severe ones, we tackle them. Even if every year we tackle the severe ones 10. Believe me to say, within 3 years or 4 years, we will not even see floods. Thank you.
Most certainly. Mark, if you come in.
A very good morning to you and to my big brothers. In fact, when coming, I was monitoring, especially yourself on Facebook. I realized that you dealt with the issues technically from your background, and I really appreciate that. However, there are some fundamental problems and challenges that we need to look at tackling. And if you don't address those things, we will continue to come here and talk. Me, when I was a small boy, I used to hear about flooding. I lived somewhere around Ashaiman, Lebanon.
Okay.
And there was this big bridge. Yes.
I was part of those who constructed it.
Okay.
With
so
a company
you know Pink Lady?
I know them.
That was why I lived.
With a company, Uniquesco.
Okay. So I remember one night.
95.
I remember, 95, 96.
Yes, we constructed a drain. The offices are come to 12.
Okay. I remember one night we were going home with my mom, and the place was flooded. Okay. So people had to, carry some of us with my siblings and all that to cross. It took God to, cross that particular, water or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is so surprising that I have grown, and we still have this challenge.
We're still talking about the same issues, eh?
It means that we are not serious as a country. But let's be very straight to the issues. We are not serious as a country. We can talk about the technicalities. What have been the mitigating factors? What have we done to solve this problem? And day in, day out, the issue keeps increasing. Our problems continue to expand. And at the end of the day, people are losing their lives. We are losing people's properties. And what benefit would it be to have leadership in place when some of these little challenges are not being addressed or solved? We hear of pumping monies upon monies into mitigating some of these challenges. Then we ask, what have been the benefits of these monies that we have been throwing away? I have said that we should begin moving from beyond relief items to lasting solutions. Let's move from relief items to lasting solutions.
3FM.
Those who have lost their properties and lives, what will 300 million Ghana cedis do to them? And how many people will receive this amount of money we are going to disburse? Is the 300 million going to bring their lives back? Mawuena, let's be serious as a country. Let us be serious. I heard my brother one comment that yes, it is not all the time we move in with a plan or intention to go and demolish. But you look at creating spaces for the gutters. Don't we have special planning here in Ghana?
Hydrological department.
Don't we have that hydrological department in Ghana where we know where our buildings should be and where it is earmarked for waterways? So when you put up your building there, what should you do? You have to break the building down.
Construct your drain. If it hit the building, that's
we'll break it down.
That's it.
We are constructing the drain. When it hits your building, we bring it down.
That is.
We have so much fixated in appointing political party loyalists rather than looking at people who have the competence to do the job. These are three main issues. Number one, management of our waste. Look, what happened recently? If you look at about 50 to 60% of the issue, it's about waste management. It is about waste management. In other jurisdictions, these wastes are turned into different things, and people are making money out of it. But when you come to Ghana, it becomes a disaster. People drink pure water and throw it out because there are lack of dustbins on our streets. I agree. That is governance problem. But what becomes of you as a human being with thinking faculty to drink water and throw it away on the street? To drink water from a plastic bottle and decide to throw it in a gutter. Are you okay? Are we born good? Are we born correct? Let's face the issues. Let's not diplomatically massaging the issues. Let's deal with it. I wish my brother was by his out. I had my senior brother Anyagba saying the previous administration spent about 550 million Ghana cedis on flood issues.
Okay. Flood
control program. And you see, we always pick the innocent, poor Ghanaian taxpayer money and go and dump it. You understand? So after spending that 550 million, what then became the essence of it? If a previous administration left 1 year and a few months ago, and they had all these things in place with this gathered money, and we still cannot solve the problem, then what becomes of us as leaders? We are a failure. Mawuena, we are a failure. I agree to the fact that climate change also contributes. Of course, the report we heard from Parliament yesterday indicates that this is one of the highest volume of rain we have seen as a country. If we had put in place certain measures in curbing down this problem, I'm not sure we'll be where we are. Where are the monies? Must we always diplomatically deal with the issues? No. People indiscriminately dispose refuse in gutters. We have assemblies, we have bylaws. What are they doing? Look, every human being is born bad though. That white man there, if you leave him, if you allow him, he also do the same thing we are doing. But there are laws. There are laws that governs them. We have all the bylaws. Why are we not implementing them? In recent times, you made mention it, that just yesterday, just as we've gone through all these calamity, someone still went to the gutters, the door or whatever, and still dumped.
No, that was Medina.
and they still did the same thing.
And then another place where
He should be arrested. He should be arrested.
Where the water had destroyed homes and things. The person was collecting the rubbish and they caught him on video and he said, "Oh, last one."
He was dumping them. So you see, in as much as we're talking about the attitudinal problem in waste management, governance is also a problem. We have people who have been put in place to take charge of governance issues. Why are we leaders? We are leaders because we want to lead. We are leaders and we must serve with example. We are leaders because we want to solve problems. But when the problem comes and we are not able to solve it, what then becomes the essence of our leadership?
There are questions being asked of the government task force, which was tasked by the president to work to prevent flood this year. It has a deputy chief of staff, has a minister of state, has NADMO on it. And they've gone around last year. They went around with the president again on Monday. There are questions being asked as to where were they? What course of action did they take? What are they telling us that we've not heard before, that we should be listening to what they've told the president to have him come to tell us again?
Mawuena, if whatever we have done over the years have been so impactful, I'm not sure we'll be seeing what we are seeing on
Well, this is also on Facebook as well. So that when they traveled with they went round with the president on Monday to have a look at what the aerial view is like and everything, right?
Mawuena, if committees that have been formed from previous administration to this administration, okay, have been so impactful, I'm not sure we'll be where we are. It's as simple as ABC will not be where we are. The real measure of success is not about how you form committees or you distribute relief items, but it's about how few Ghanaians are affected when we go through such problems. How few Ghanaians are affected. Just look at the view.
I mean, look at the aerial view of the capital.
Look at what is happening. The capital of Accra. The capital of Ghana, sorry. The capital of Ghana. Everywhere is submerged. Yet we have leaders. And every assembly has an MC. We have DCs.
It's beyond MC.
It's beyond MC.
But they've been given a mandate to do things.
If it is beyond MC, then what do? We need coordinated effort.
Yes,
we need coordinated effort. Can't you coordinate? We have NADMO. My big brother was there as a PRO in the administration. We have NADMO. We have the Ghana police. We have all the other institutions. Can't you coordinate and give realistic solutions to our problems? Then we have failed state. We have failed leaders. Let's face the issues as they are. Ghanaians are so frustrated. Ghanaians are frustrated. Look at this. Baller. This is baller. And as a human being, rightful thinking human being, you go and dump your refuse into this.
I mean, look at the filth.
And you wake up and go to church on Sunday.
And the water can't flow.
They say cleanliness is next to godliness. You do this.
There's no way the water can flow. It will
How can the water flow?
It can't flow.
It will choke.
It will choke.
It will choke.
It will never flow.
Attitudinal change. Let's change our attitude. I saw the president talking somewhere, former President Annan in Canada, that he is not going to continue to waste money on this attitude of Ghanaians. We go and still come back to the same place. Mawuena, what kind of future are we bequeathing to the next generation? So they will come and be viewing all these when we are old men. And what do you think will be their words and their messages to us? They will tell us we have failed. We have failed.
I'm even going to ask a question. So we are seeing all of the refuse. We are seeing persons whom have been inundated by rubbish and all of that. All of this which is being collected right now, it comes back. Where is it going to? Where is the waste? The waste which they will come for.
Yes.
Not the seal too.
I get it.
The waste.
I understand.
Where will the waste go to?
You see, Mawuena, as you said, there are waste collection agencies in town or in the city, and they are responsible for that. They are designated landfill sites that they send these wastes to. And some of the challenges we've had when we do our communal labor, the first week, governments we're having that first or third Saturday, this thing. Most of the times when we desilt the drains, we leave them by there.
They go back.
They go back. So those were the challenges. Yes. So, yes, there are places designated for the disposal of these wastes when they are collected. But the efficiency of the management of those wastes is also another problem. And we know what the challenges are. I'm not restricting it to any particular government. We know that, because of delay in payment or sometimes government's inability to pay these waste management agencies, they also have challenges. We've seen times when Zoom Lion and co have had to hesitate or pussyfoot a little because they needed money to be able to carry out some of these things. And so it's all a big basket that we need to manage. Efficiency and management matters, okay, about these. They've had places. There are times too, there are challenges with landfill sites, okay? you go and the people don't want that place to be used as a landfill site. Sometimes government has to engage them extensively to be able to get the land, then to use it as a landfill site. So that's where we need to encourage the waste recycling companies to do what they have to do. So that we should begin as a people to be able to separate solid waste from other waste. You get it? Elsewhere, these things are done. If you are going to dispose of your waste, there are some, you separate them, you get it, and then, but here we just box them up and we send them. Another key matter we need to look at, in these days, the flooding. We said it, I think our brother was in the round, both of us said it at the beginning, but they're structural and engineering matters, okay? These ones are key things that we need to look at. You can't take that away. If we want to succeed in this, and again, because of where Accra in particular is situated, okay, below the Buri Hills or the Krapim range, and then His Excellency said the sea, okay. Now, another issue that I want to talk about, you see, the dredge masters, we have spoken about retention ponds and all that. My brother also touched on that. Dredge masters were engaged to be desilting or dredging the Odo here. Now, one consultant who was with NADMO and the dredge masters, I've always forgotten their names, and I were a professor, so he said something, and that one is political. He said when Dubai was about to be built, his recommendation, in fact, they had designed the Dubai. Well, by Dubai, I'm talking of the circle. So not the international Dubai. Okay. I'm talking circle Dubai. When it was commissioned, he said Dubai. Yeah. So they designed everything, and then when he saw it, he saw that the drainage, underground drains, were not factored into it to get the water from the overhead into the Odo. Big gutter there, you get it. So he recommended that be included. And I think it escalated the cost, you get it. But the then government, it was done by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He felt, okay, the thing had already been designed, they should go ahead, they will see how they will factor that in later. Unfortunately, that wasn't factored in. If thereafter, even under us, maybe we could have re-looked at it to look at how we can get the drains to get into the Odo. And so that's part of the reason why a little rainfall circle is completely flooded. You get it? Because we didn't factor in the underground drainage systems in the place. Beautiful overhead there, beautiful Dubai, this thing, road and cool, but the drainage, this thing was not factored into it, especially under him. Okay, and that's engineering. So I don't
get it that much.
Yes.
Sincerely speaking, I'm coming.
Right. This from a technical person.
Yes. I will speak from technical. Underground drain.
A technical person.
We normally consider the distance to its final destination. Let's look at where the Odo River is, where it's a river, and then look at where the Dubai is. When you are constructing drain, you construct it to a gradient, so it's sloped to. So the thing is underground already. Maybe before it will get there, the level that it will go, it will not be favorable. Sometimes when it is full, it will even return back. Sometimes it will return back. You get it? Being on the pressure. And then when you look at where it is, and the nature of circle itself is low. Circle itself is low. So you look at the nature of circle, and then you want to construct underground drain, it will fail. So since always, I disagree. Always. But what
like lawyers, two different lawyers who disagree.
Anyway, I disagree. My simple reason is that. My simple reason is one, if we always distill the Odo River and it flows, and then we have maybe additional gutters, not drain, to the drain that passes through the night market. So there's a drain through the night market, which is stone, to those ones, and then we construct another one, which will support that one to the Odo, and make sure that the Odo flows. We will not encounter what we're encountering. What we're encountering is as a result of the Odo being filled. The video that we watched, it doesn't even contains half of the volume of the space that is supposed to. Because in some instances, the sun is almost 2/3 of the gutter as we are watching. What we are watching is about 2/3. So the volume of water now is 1/3 of it. It contains 1/3 of the space. So to me, I thought it is not late. Engineers can look at it, the whole area, and then come out with design if upon proper deliberation and then gradient taking, they realize the underground will work fine. If it will not work, surface, the surface. And consistently, distilling, consistent, maybe once in every 2 months, consistently.
Masters were even stationed there.
Yes, it should be consistently.
This year, from eyewitness and persons, they've not seen a lot of dredging.
That's what I'm saying. It should be consistent.
Dredging didn't happen.
So then the committee.
That's why I asked the question as to the committee.
The committees, my brother, the committees are to, yes, in as much as they may recommend long-term.
What I know about the.
But they will look at the exigent matters, okay, so that people can be safe in the immediate times.
The little I knew about the committee is they went around identifying the dangerous areas and then writing their reports, recommendations, remedies on those areas. That is what I know for now. And then when they put it, government must also implement. So maybe we might not be seeing it now, but I know that they went around and recommend some areas, not only in Greater Accra, all the regions of area.
The sector minister for Works and Housing is on it too.
Yes, I know.
He's on his own.
He's on the committee.
Definitely, local government should be on it.
I agree with you.
Even the interior.
Of course.
Interior.
No, NADMO is under interior.
NADMO's rep is one of the deputies there.
So all we are talking about, okay, boils down to government issues. It's about leadership.
Mawuena, forgive me in 30 seconds. The last you see the drained point where the water drained the sea. From even let me say from Central Gospel. That place, the water doesn't flow much. So it delays. Water, when it delays, it passes.
And it almost like a pushback of some sort.
And that place, the water doesn't flow fast. So the dredging is very prioritized. Those places, so that the water, if the water flows there, the back lot will also move. So that place is a bigger problem. And we should assess that bridge, the Kolebu Bridge. If it cannot,
there's a wager area going to the sea to
that area. They are the challenges.
The point of entry
some distance to the connections are the biggest challenge. Beside what we are talking of the sun, they are also bigger. But they will get there, and then entry there becomes
flow back.
Thank you. Then it will be compiled.
I really like the technical conversations we are having. But the Ghanaians sitting out there is not listening to what you're talking about. They want to see real-time solutions. Because our taxes have been expended. They're wasting our money on these things. So it's not about the technicalities we discuss. You understand? The Ghanaian people are looking out for solutions. That is why we are voted into office as leaders.
You are right. Evidence shows that, Mawuena, Alaju. By then I was at Accra Poly. You see, when we get to Caprice, we put our books in our dress and walk through the water. I was living at Annan. Evidence showed that when storm drain was constructed there,
it became better.
It minimized everything. Evidence also showed Taifa Junction, when you ran Taifa, there was a similar. Evidence also showed after the overbridge, Apenkwa footbridge, first when you descend, where the charcoal cellars are, it used to flood my waist level. But evidence showed that when they were doing the carriageway, the double carriageway, they expanded the drain there itself. Nima. Evidence.
That Nima bridge is not completed yet too.
No, when it gets to the N1, the canal, that is where it is not complete. But the danger place, we've passed the danger place.
Okay.
You see, it's solved. Ashama, which I was part, and you admitted, Ashama is solved. So there are evidence that show that when we move into the structures, believe me to say, we will not be seeing this.
And that is that's where I come to my brother. You say we want the solution, but we need the technical things to get the solution. The resources to get the technical people to do their work to get the solution.
We need money.
We can do it. I'm a politician. I'm in the position. I would want to bastardize the whole thing, but we need to find the real solutions. I can do my politics and Mawuena will look at me, I'll go back. How are we solving the matter?
Yes. I sit here on the ticket of NDC.
A bit more technical today.
I understand the technicalities, but you see, we've been so technical about these issues, and for over years, we are still where we are.
You know the biggest challenge? You see, fund them. It is highly capital intensive.
You know, the direct fund,
when I did, how many
200, then
when I did the basic.
But
you see, Mawuena, I understand that we are funding challenges, but even if we receive 100 million, we have project outlines that when you have 100 million, you can do from A to B. And then when you get other funding, you continue. What do we see? People just stop the money.
So I was going to come to Garrett, right? Because if you trace how much we've received from the World Bank, in excess of $500 million.
Garrett, 200, 150.
200, 150. There was another.
That all wasn't disbursed.
It was not a go.
It's not. That's why I said if you want to trace it all. Right.
For now, we can only speak of the 200 and the 150.
200 and the 150.
And 17 districts were considered for that in the greater account.
Are the tangibles available? That's a question. Because 200 plus 150 is $350 million.
But not all was disbursed. I think I have the data.
I look for it. I think initially 36%.
You understand? What inhibited the disbursement?
Part of it
is one, because once the money is made available, you're supposed to move into action, and then you can begin to produce certificates and receive additional funding.
Mawuena, my excitement is the engineer did say something that when you go that you're doing the
evidence shows that it will solve the problem.
You're doing the drain, and people stay along the routes. You clear them. You get it. That my thinking with Garrett, to be honest with you, I've been in some meetings. Carried this thing, the technical team, and I thought it was going to be storm drain solutions. You get it? But later, I think they considered the number of people that were going to be affected, and I'm a politician.
And the votes.
There was some political. I wouldn't shy away. From it. You get it?
Because that was supposed to be storm drains.
Yes,
storm drains.
Then later they said that districts should take the money and do their own. I said, that to me wasn't the initial plan. Okay, so if later monies are given to the 17 districts to manage the drains, it's deviating from getting a solution-based storm drains
it comes back to the politicians.
In fact, the number of people who are going to be affected along the timing wasn't good.
Governance and leadership.
It says the timing wasn't good. An election was coming, so you want to win.
Look, we need a government. Sometimes you must be ready to damn the consequences.
But
all the politicians are saying be ready to damn the consequences, but they never damn the consequences.
Remember G. Blacksey and Abodjise? They were doing all the things, and we politicians had to stop them.
We need to be very deliberate. We need to be very deliberate. Look, we have been so much reactive.
Diplomatic.
We've been so diplomatic on solving our challenges. Let's be proactive. I've said that President Mahama has a legacy to leave behind. Look, he can put his presidency on the line. Of course, he's not going for any election.
His party is there.
I understand. You see, your party can be there. All right? But the Ghanaian people who are going to vote for your party, do you want them to die first? Do you want them to lose their property?
We will not let them die first.
No! Solve the problem. Mahama should make sure you solve this problem. If past presidents are not able to solve it, President Mahama should solve this problem. He should solve it. Look, we have these MMDCs. And you see, let me go back to the waste management issues we were talking about. challenges, when they come up, we try to find solutions to them. If Zoom Live was working, on waste management, and at the point you realized that the contract terms was not going so well, he was not paying his workers well and all that, we took all the contracts from him. I think that taking all the contracts is the wrong thing. We could have aggregated the contracts gradually and studied the project he was doing. Now that we are where we are, I think he should come back to do his job. Because the assemblies are not doing the job.
He's still in the space for competition, right?
Yeah.
He can bid.
He can bid.
Yeah, he can bid.
And I'll be honest.
There was monopoly, but now
there was monopoly.
Yeah.
The question is, the work, was it being done to a certain level? Yeah. I've had people argue and say, "Oh, why are you taking Ghanaian business? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" And all of those.
Let's just suppose the effects. If the work
Fair
was
enough.
not done to a level that we expected, just suppose that to today.
But there was flooding then still.
Did we see this baller in the gutter then? Like this?
Oh, baller has always been in the gutter.
This one has gone too much high. This one, where
it's always been there.
It has been there, but not like as this.
The point I'm seeking to make is that I believe business people will drive development. Yeah. Yes. Go back and watch documentaries. Andrew Carnegie, Vanderbilt's. They built America with industry and innovation. One-man business, putting up rail lines across the entirety of the U.S. They will drive development.
You know why they were able to do that?
When you're given responsibility or you enjoy monopoly within a certain space, you drive development. You carry the nation along and you drive development. We all can agree that outside of the concerns of how much was being paid, waste collection, we drive and we still see waste on the road. So those are concerns. We need to find a way to deal with the waste. Now we are being told plastics will be banned. To begin to find a solution to dealing with it. Where are we on that?
Mawuena, I agree with you, all right, that private individuals sometimes get the monopoly, okay, to drive development, to drive change. But we have political appointees who spearhead those responsibilities, those jobs. So if the private man is not able to deliver, what then becomes the essence of you, the political appointee? Who have been put there to work? What becomes your essence?
Relevance.
What becomes your relevancy? You understand? And so for the private people, they are in for their profit. They'll do whatever they want to do. But it behoves the political appointee to make sure that that private person is doing what is right. One monitor now, what do you expect him to do? He will just mess you up and go his way.
Maybe next time we come, maybe we should be having the NDC manifesto, so we see promise on
manifesto
flood
is not
management.
That's a manifesto they can
flood management. His Excellency in the throes of the election year getting closer, he emphasized on the challenges of flooding and how he intends to solve them. So maybe yes, he's put a technical committee in place. Maybe the 30 months ahead, we've done 18 months, right? The next 30 months, maybe His Excellency will get his axe right. Go to the manifesto and see the promises he made to solving flood issues, okay? And then begin to tackle it. Maybe Malik will be part of the team that will try to resolve it. We want, as you said, we need to have it resolved.
Like I said,
it must start from somewhere.
4.221 urban water supply and distribution. The NDC proposes several initiatives to provide engineering solutions to address perennial flooding, upgrade the existing existing urban water supply system. So of the many things they do, construct water retention and detention reservoirs in flood-prone communities to reduce the perennial flooding and for irrigation and other purpose.
That's correct.
As for the manifesto, like I'm saying, it's not a problem.
And this in the 2015 flood report.
And you see,
so it's
implementation. Also admitted that it was 2015, and then they came to power in 2017. They could have also looked at it and then implement the good side of it. I will not say all, because you also like to put some inputs in it. That's fine. But so what we are talking about, Mawuena, believe me to say, this committee that has been said, which I'm aware, that they went around first to identify the danger areas, the prone areas, and then they wrote their recommendation. We may say it is late, but better. They wrote their recommendation. And as I said earlier, we can mitigate it drastically. We can, the lagoon at Sakumodo Lagoon, we just have to reclaim it. And then dredge the whole thing. And then dredge the way, the road to the place, and then dredge it. We have to do similar thing at where I just mentioned here, Kole there, and then Wager, which I also mentioned. We just have to do that. Believe me, it will come down, as I said earlier. It is capital.
Flooding is mentioned 11 times.
They give us the money.
But that's the danger.
People chop the money.
In the manifesto.
People chop the money.
Flooding is mentioned 11 times.
Garib
and I tell you, what he's saying, the committee going around, yes. But with the press of Barton at the Ministry of Works and Housing, they know the challenges. Yes. They know what the issues are.
We are not solving the problem.
Which is there is a report since 2015.
Active to the challenges.
You didn't implement it. They are not implementing it. They are not implementing it.
It is leadership failure. It is leadership failure across all political.
That's why I told you, Mawuena, I told you that as a disaster officer. I've told you that as a disaster officer.
Let me do it this way: 1-1-1, and then we go.
As a disaster officer, I've had the privilege of traveling elsewhere to see how things are done and all that. We haven't, and up to now, we don't prioritize disaster management. It's not a priority. It's not a priority until we begin to refocus and prioritize disaster matters in Ghana, okay? We may not be making the needed progress that we expect, okay? So government has fine blueprints, there may be KPIs and all that, resources, availability, the technical people, okay, to drive these vision of government is very important. Flooding is a big challenge. Mawuena just told us, 1939 report, flood in Accra. Sorry, 35, right?
Yes,
35. Getting to 100 years, and headlines. I saw a 1960 graphic headline. Floods in Accra. Today is getting worse. So government may have good intentions, but we need to channel resources and the technical people to get to work, roll up their sleeves and get to work, so that we bring, and it is structural and engineering.
Malik, you have the final word, and then your final word as well, and then I'll go to
Mawuena.
Oh, so we couldn't go to South Africa. That's okay. This one is important.
This is more important. They should be doing what they are. They should be doing what they are doing.
Mawuena, as I said, how do you solve problem? Solving of a problem is one, to identify the problem. If you don't identify problems, how do you solve them? You identify the problem, and then before you come in and assess the problem, and then cause the problem, and then look for the funding. That is what the committee did earlier. And
that's what my man doesn't want to hear. It's too long.
And you see, I mean, some of the things is too long.
You know, and Mawuena, as we read the manifesto, it will be worked on. The most important is it is a structure work, as a UCC, which I support him. And it is capital intensive. We pray to make money. Because off-head calculation that I did, we need close to $3 billion.
So the figure actually is 5 billion.
Yeah, billion. As the off-head I did. We're talking about 3 billion.
That's an official technical work done.
Thank you. But I did off-head because I have a quantities background too. Okay. So off-head, what I did is about 3 billion just to solve. Maybe this is completion of the 5, but just to solve, tackle the major areas to bring it down.
And this 5 is even some few years back.
You get so it could even be more. You understand? No, dollar, half of the dollar is stable. But the city will fluctuate. The city will fluctuate, but dollar will be steady. So I think let's all pray that the government will make money. We'll get some
praying to make money.
Yeah, to get money.
Roll up your sleeves and make money for us.
Pray government raise some money.
Let me give Mark the final word, because I have my crystal ball is that she has to do something.
The lack of enforcement is not just a reflection of public indiscipline, all right? But I foresee that our laws exist, okay, to promote order and discipline. And these ought to be seen by the Ghanaian people, and who must lead the charge. It is we, the politicians. So if the politicians are not doing anything, I'm disappointed in them because they have failed the good people of Ghana.
Fair enough. That's Mark Ewusiako is a convener of Election Watch Ghana. Malik Adama is an engineer and also a member